Hello. Hopefully you can hear us. Welcome back. They cannot hear you. Should be quiet for a second. All right, hold up. And now they should be able to hear you.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
They can hear you
He's a
now.
Verizon Sprint guy. Hey, is the Sprint guy going to T-Mobile now?
I guess. Or maybe, I don't, they haven't used him in a while. Maybe they just dropped him.
Oh, wouldn't it make his way around to all four? Well, I guess it's three now.
That would be pretty funny.
T-Mobile's like, we don't want you. Next thing you know, he's at AT&T. Can you hear me now? All right, let's pop this chat out.
If it was not for this podcast, I'd be watching the NFL draft.
Why?
Because I like the NFL. The Steelers haven't picked yet.
Mag. Eddy Current breaks.
I'd be at a sports bar with my dad right now watching it. That's where he is.
You'd be wearing a sports bra? What?
Yep, I'd be wearing a sports bra and I'd be frolicking around outside my house. Singing Zippity Doo Dah Zippity Day.
So their website doesn't have anything about this launch that they're working on.
No.
But this is, I don't know, this is really interesting.
Ooh, the 49ers got a new QB. Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Nice. The Dolphins. Jalen Waddell from Alabama. We still have a while for the Steelers. They're 24th, so.
All right. So my fascination of the night is I found this company via a Reddit post that I dug into that is making a launch system out of eddy currents. It's an eddy current linear eddy current launch. So is that a LEC? Instead of LIM or LSM, it's a LEC.
It's a LEC coaster, yeah. It's LEC coaster.
It's a LEC.
Like a LEC coaster.
Oh no, they're calling it LEM. I don't know where the M comes from.
Motor, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Linear eddy current motor.
It's the same M as the other ones have.
Yeah. Is it me or is it audio render error?
What?
Never mind. I know what the issue is. Interesting. So they're spinning discs.
This is
and there's magnets on the bottom of the train that propel them forward. See, I don't see the point of the magnets then. If it's just spinning discs that propel the train forward, why then? I mean, I know that the eddy current is a magnetic field, but To me, this seems like it should just be these discs that are propelling it forward.
No, well, so there's here, hold on, let me find this other. The same here, this video here. I posted it in the chat. I don't know if you can see it.
I cannot see it. I see the video you sent me. Is
You
that
didn't
the
see
one
the
you're
link? No, I mean in the YouTube chat.
Oh, in the YouTube chat.
The second one. AE23Z.
Oh, oops, something went wrong. I don't know if that link's working.
It's in Discord.
Yeah, that link's not working on you. I'm going to Cedar Point in May as well, Cam. I'm going May 14th. May 15th, actually. Ah.
So it, like, since it's eddy current, they spin to propel, but then when they're stationary, they act like eddy current brakes.
Exactly, yeah.
It's very interesting. But I don't understand I don't exactly understand what the spinning does. I need to understand this. I
know that's what I don't get. What the spinning. That's when I saw the spinning wheels. I thought, is it the actual wheels that are just propelling it forward? What's the necessary? Why is the magnetic piece necessary if they're just wheels that are like somehow latching on and propelling it forward? Why do they need the magnetic field to even be generated at all? But yeah, now I'm seeing this. It makes a little bit more sense. I just need to, I need to get what the spinning is for.
Oh, wait, here. It's actually eddy current launcher, LEM. Magnets are placed under the cars and a series of flywheels coupled to aluminum discs is in the launch zone. There is no contact between the two. The system can be used also for speed up to intermediate launchers and for braking with static aluminum brakes at the end of the ride. Thanks to the energy stored in the flywheels, the power demand for launching is flat. Two operating examples of this technique are Drifter at Sochi Park in the Sochi Olympic Park at Funworks Abu Dhabi. You only listed one. Oh, and at Funworks. Okay. That's a oh my god. This may be the tiniest coaster.
What the hell? This is literally the SpongeBob coaster from SpongeBob. This is literally, look. It might actually be smaller. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, I saw the bridge. I didn't see the defacing.
Looks like that.
It's weird, like, so Our CDB doesn't even say that it's a limb launch.
I mean, you can clearly see the discs. I hate to say it, but as much as it's interesting me, we should probably get back to the show stuff.
I can't. I'm too interested.
I know, Bob. I know. Been here with my woman. Are these just clones? Are these rides just clones?
They look the two of them.
The Drifter at Scotia Park.
Yeah, it looks like it. It actually looks kind of fun.
Does it? Gets to 18 miles an hour. That's pretty good for like how small it is.
Wait, what? What? 4.5 G? No.
Where do you see that? I don't see that on here. Nor do I believe that.
He Park launch coaster are characterized by acceleration of
it,
up
yeah.
to 4.5 G.
I hope they mean grams. Because that's false advertising. I guarantee it does not get 4.5. Does not pull 4.5.
No,
Gs.
I mean it's possible if the energy requirement is flat, then
4.5 Gs is pretty high amount of G-force to be pulling on this kind of ride.
not on that little tiny thing.
Oh, this is not the.
No, this is talking about the launch system.
I just
Holy
scrolled up and
crap.
saw it.
Yeah, 4.5 G on that.
I was like, Bob, you are crazy. Please do not argue this with me. Come on, how can that thing pull 4.5 Gs? Like that's a lot to be pulling on that little kiddie ride. I mean,
just launch right off the track. Didn't even make that first turn.
You just
gone.
Zoop. You know, it's like a rocket. Oh man. All right, if this man, that makes more sense. All right. Well, again, I'm very intrigued, but we need to get on to the show.
We're talking about LEM right now, Cam.
Yeah,
I still don't fully understand it.
We'll be talking about LSMs and LIMs. Yeah. Been here with my woman. Any ideas for the weekly poll of this week? That's all we got to figure out.
So Pierce, I did install my air conditioners today. They're pretty kick-ass.
Should we talk about the new Sky Coaster model?
It's not a new Sky Coaster model.
Not a new model, but a new vehicle that can be.
It's not a new vehicle. Has nothing to do with Sky Coaster.
It's pretty much the same concept.
It's a copy of the Sky Coaster.
Bob, for Christ's sake, why do you have to be? It's a Sky Coaster. It's just not a Sky Coaster.
It's not a Sky Coaster because they're never going to exist.
Okay, but I don't. I'm hope. No, let me see if they can see what angle they can see. Yeah. I just found a link here. Ride and Attraction Inventor Bill Kitchen, the founder and chairman of US Thrill Rides, has introduced the Sky Screamer. Bill's original invention, the Sky Coaster, takes up 3 riders. So the actual inventor of the Sky Coaster is inventing the Sky Screamer.
Yeah, but he never sold the Sky Coaster.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's his invention, therefore, I mean, he's replicating it. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's just you have like a different ride.
Did he really invent it?
Yeah. Well, you just said he never sold it. I mean,
I don't think he did. I don't know.
Should we talk about that or no?
Yeah, we can.
All right, let me copy this link. I'm surprised Pam's not watching. Oh, Pam's probably watching the draft, I thought. Never mind. Maybe. But I feel like she'd watch the draft and watch us at the same time. I don't feel like she
it
cared.
looks like he did sell some.
Yeah, I thought, I was like, it's kind of weird to be the inventor and then just never sell any of your... And then for them to become so prominent, too. Like, such prominent rides. Like,
I don't care. The fact that it has the polar coaster in the background. That
whether or not he sells them or not is not the question, though. The fact that they've been introduced as a concept. I mean, we've talked about rides before that have never came to be.
Yeah, let's not kill our discussion about it. I'm watching my air conditioner. It's right over there.
You really biting my...
Yeah, he was saying talk about the air conditioner, and he said I'm watching both.
I was talking about the let's not kill our discussion thing.
Oh, you. Normally you'd tell me that, so
I know, but
I figured it was a great time for me to use it because it like literally just hit me. I was like, I was about to say a lot of stuff. I'm like, wait, need to wait.
The world's first dual-powered coaster?
What?
The world's first dueling-powered coaster is coming to Sky World's theme park.
I can't wait to ride a coaster I don't even get a credit for.
Should we talk about that or no?
Powered coaster. You mean a train that goes on hills? Don't we have enough news, don't we?
Yeah, we do, but it's always good to talk about the news, you know, even if there's too much. I mean, we've had shows where there's been 40 News stories. But we're good, I think. I don't know if we need to talk about a powered coaster. It's not even really a coaster, like you said. So, another news: a Larson Loop is coming to Six Flags. We need to talk about that. That is where the news is
Coming to
at.
where?
Six Flags.
Which one?
Just Six Flags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know the one. Just Six Flags.
Tallest and fastest. That's the same exact model.
Yep. Yep, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. This guy gets it. Air Talk Podcast, Air Conditioning Talk Podcast. Yeah, me and Timmy were at a park in Richmond. Timmy's gone silent, so I don't think he's listening anymore. But
Timmy,
me and Timmy were up at Maymont Park in Richmond, and we passed by. There was a fountain there. Oh, he is here. But yeah, we were talking about Fountain Talk Podcast, the good old days.
Fountain Talk.
Fountain Talk Podcast.
I couldn't believe you guys that day.
You love it.
Everybody starts all of a sudden like, hey, we're here to like record videos of roller coasters. Now watch me walk around this fountain and take all kinds of video of it.
It's called Atmosphere. Building
In a
up.
video?
Yeah, you build up to the ride. I mean, you're trying to I'm trying to capture the entire park's aesthetic, and then I'm also going to just transition to the rides in a second.
If you say so.
This is why I'm the videographer, Bob.
No, I get it. I just like harassing you.
I know, I'm kidding. I like harassing you back. That sounded really bad, so I'm going to just move on to the next thing. That sounded pretty bad. I like harassing you too. Oh wow, my
your
camera's getting darker and darker.
It happens.
It happens to the best of us. Boom, 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 boom.
Zippity-doo-dah.
Zippity-day.
My, oh my.
What a wonderful day.
And everybody immediately tunes out.
And we're banned from YouTube. We're canceled. All right, let's start the show. What's the weekly
Hold
poll?
on 1 second. What is the weekly poll?
Why are we banned from YouTube? I'm just kidding. Plenty of sunshine. Plenty.
Head in my way.
Zippity-doo-dah.
Zippity, yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder.
Bob just breaks out into like a musical number. With like a top hat and a cane.
All right, Cam. Here you go. Here's the video. The video you've all been waiting for.
The media playback was aborted due to a corruption problem, or because the media used features your browser did not support.
Why are you using a crap browser?
Why am I using the most prominent and important and successful browser on the planet? I don't know.
Does that link work for you, Cam? It's there just for you. You and Pierce, actually. You're both asking about it.
Not Timmy. Timmy, if you click on that link, we will come to your house and we will kill you.
There you go. You can't even hear the compressor run on my new air conditioner. Just hear the fan noise. That's it. Plus, it looks cooler too.
But Timmy said, "Uh oh."
Where's Pam at?
Where's the code? I'm just kidding.
What's the code? I don't see that. I can't see the code.
Can we please start the show?
Yes.
Can we talk about what the weekly poll is going to be as well?
No.
F it, we'll do it live. What if we just thought about the poll? We had to think about the poll live.
Oh, I still think that our poll should be, what should the weekly poll be next year or next year, next week?
In 20 years, what should the weekly poll be? You saw Pam lied, Cam. You're gonna realize real soon that not everyone in this world is honest and truthful. Sometimes you have those individuals that lie and hurt you, and Pam is one of those. Oh, I just realized that it says episode 117, and this is actually episode 118.
Oh man,
we lied to you too, so I'm sorry. What should the weekly poll be? Why is Pam not here?
Yeah, that works. Do you realize how much time this weekly poll consumes?
But do you know how much it is interesting to so many people? And everyone loves answering? I mean, I get messages about it all the time. Where's the weekly poll? What is it? I need to answer.
Well, why don't they oh, wait, what was Daniel? What did Daniel told us something?
Oh, yes, he did. Just don't talk for a second. Let me think. I gotta think. I think it was something to do with COVID, maybe. Something like the COVID protocols. Are you gonna message him now?
Yep.
I'm gonna remember it before he responds. Dang it. Is he typing?
No, no. Timmy, you have good memory. What was Daniel's suggestion?
Timmy, I typically have good memory. I just wasn't listening to him that well.
Because it was 6 a.m.
No, I think he told us that when it was 2 in the morning.
Oh, see, I don't even know what time it was. It was not at a sane hour.
Because I would have remembered it if it was in the morning. Timmy doesn't remember either.
Well, we're all worthless. Hey, Pam. Oh, wait.
We're all old men.
Alex?
Is Alex here?
No, I don't think so.
No. Alex, I'm reaching out to you through the Force. Tell me what the poll was. God dang it. How can I not remember this? I think it was something with...
Is it bad? I just saw, like, the primordial video that we did. I don't even remember what I said on it. I barely remember talking about that. It was only 6 months ago.
It's the trademark thing. There was the them getting rid of the trademark.
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, now I remember.
What do you? Oh my gosh, the results are way. I haven't looked at the results since last night. Do you want to know, or do you want to know the results live?
Do it live.
You're not. I don't think. I don't know. I we'll see. Come on, Daniel. Ah,
Hey, hey, live lookers! Somebody give us a poll.
it was something to do with roller coasters and
It was
theme
something
parks.
with masks, I think.
You think? Yeah, I
Maybe.
thought it was something with COVID stuff too.
Kim, did you ever? You never got to ride Volcano, did you?
You don't know the difference. You've been on two. You've been on. I mean, you've been on Flight of Fear, I assume.
Yeah, but I mean, Flight of Fear isn't a really good. It's like it's not a like Volcano was one that you could really tell the difference between Lim and LSM.
I don't know. Volcano was very good. Volcano implemented them very well, but
Flight of Fear isn't that powerful in itself. Like I I don't know. I don't, Batman and Robin was another one you could kind of you could tell.
there's some powerful LSMs though.
There are, but but like powerful limbs. There's not a lot. There really aren't many powerful limbs. I guess probably Mr. Freeze, but
What's the acceleration of Flight of Fear?
not enough.
0 to 54 in how many seconds?
Well, he said he could. He hasn't wrote it anyway.
I'm not even. I has nothing. I don't care about him writing it right now. I'm just trying to figure out the actual acceleration of it. Like
Is Backlot Lim or LSM?
backlot is limb. Oh, they just say it's an exciting acceleration.
I guess you probably could tell on Flight of Fear. I don't know. I guess if you haven't experienced heavy launches,
They tell you.
probably could tell.
They tell you backlot stunt coaster 0 to 40 in 3 seconds. Why can't they tell us Flight of Fear?
Mainly, Cam, the difference is Lim isn't programmed. It's like your fan, like say your ceiling fan. When you turn it on, it just goes. If you hang something heavy on your ceiling fan, it's still gonna go. It just might take longer to spin up to speed. But
Yeah,
it just goes. It's just at one speed, it's just gonna go as fast as it can. It's gonna get you to that highest speed as quickly as possible. End of story. LSM is like segments. So on your whole launch track, you have segments, and all of those are synchronized by a computer. So the computer will judge how fast you're going and change the acceleration based on what the exit speed is supposed
you
to
can
be.
turn. It's just yeah. It's like there's an actual magnet on the bottom of the train, and then there's other magnets on the track.
Well, I
and
mean, in that sense, it's the same as Lim.
yeah, but the reason that the programmable part is that they can those magnets on. It's not the same because the limb actually doesn't have a magnet on it. It just has a aluminum fin on the sides of the track. They're not actually magnets. It's a fin, and then there's stators on the limbs on like the sides of the track, like Flight of Fear, for example.
Yeah, it's a motor.
Yeah.
It's literally an unrolled motor.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a rare earth magnet.
I mean, LSM is very similar to Lim in that sense.
In that sense, that there's a piece on the track that's in between these stators. Yeah.
It's the main difference though is just that control. It's the computer that controls how much acceleration is applied,
And it's
as
also the
opposed
fact
to
that with
just
LSMs,
friggin' go.
it's what happens is like they have it set so that the magnets on the track pull you forward and propel you forward, just through the basic magnetic theory of like propulsion and repulsion. And so what happens is as soon as you pass by one of those magnets, it flips and reverses, and it actually starts repelling it, so it shoots it forward. And that's what also is like, that's what's the programmable piece is like how quickly those magnets switch and how fast they or how much repulsion they have within them to like repel the train forward. So I think that actually might have to do with like
controls the speed.
Yes, but with limbs it's kind of different because it's actually like there's a magnetic field that creates an eddy current, and the eddy current's actually what pushes it forward. It's not the same as just having the repulsion and the it's different. I've read about it. They're very complex.
I mean, I'm intentionally trying to not
simplify it. Yeah.
Captain Science version, just from a simplistic, like, what's the difference you would feel
in writing?
It's
yeah.
that
I'm trying to
versus just go.
But but you're kind of setting it up as if LIMs are like much better. I don't really think there's that much of a difference between them. Now, if you find like the average, like sure, Volcano is like an exception. That's like an out of the box example of like where it was excellently implemented and the acceleration was crazy.
Well,
but, I mean,
I think if you take.
Wait, why are we doing this? We're doing the same.
I don't know. Why are we doing this?
Cam, you suck. We'll get into this in the second half. Daniel's typing, so we're gonna get the result. We're gonna get the poll here soon. I hope it's a good one. He's typing too long. It should just be like a quick, like this or this or this. He's typing for like 5 minutes. It's gonna be like a whole two paragraph essay on what the weekly poll should be. Well, if you went here and did this, and then that happened here, and then this transpired over there. And
oh my God!
What?
It's like the third person has asked me in the last hour, have you heard about Verbolten?
Yeah, I saw Pompey's sign.
Single rider lines, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
We were kind of off base.
Well, it was due to COVID, though. Like, single rider lines have been dissolved because of COVID, yeah.
All right, what is Pompey sign? Okay, I need a link to Pompey sign.
I can send it to you.
It's okay, Travis. It's just funny.
You mother. I'm just kidding. Here, I'll send it. I'll just send it on Signal. I have a picture of it, so.
It's okay, Travis. James has it.
Just says Pompeii. Doesn't. I think they just haven't. In my opinion, I think this is probably something scheduled, and they just haven't painted "escape from" over it.
like the Cedar Point sign.
Escape from Cedar Point.
No.
Although that would be an interesting ride.
Why is the Pompeii actually kind of looks like Pompeii, and like it almost looks stylized?
I know Verbolten wasn't, yeah. What's so bad about this Pompeii sign as opposed to the older one? I just don't think they've written "escape from" on there yet. Other than that, though, what's so bad about it? Like, I'm genuinely curious. I mean, I know what the old sign looked like, and I don't think this looks too different.
I mean, you want to see a sign that sucks? Look at Cedar Point's new sign. That's
It sucks. It sucks. Unpainted. I don't see the. I mean, I don't think they're done with it yet. You can't give them. This definitely looks like it's the beginning stages of replacement. Here, look at this, Bob. This is the sign, the original sign, just for reference. Tell me if you. I don't see that big of a difference there. Other than, again, it's not finished being painted, but I think that's to come. Oh, Bob's gone. I was wondering why he got quiet for a second. There's a difference. It definitely looks a lot cleaner and new. But I don't see an issue. I don't see it suck. That doesn't suck to me. I honestly don't know what's happening right now. It's just me. That is great. His computer ran out of RAM. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I've seen these. That's pretty funny. Oh my gosh, this is great. Well, it's a one-man show like it used to be. Oh no, now he's back.
Good Lord. No, Timmy, I was not kidding about the RAM. I was dead serious. Like, I literally set my phone.
Can you turn your camera
and I
on?
didn't. Huh? Oh, it's
wanna-
not on.
Yeah, you want to turn that back on?
Maybe. Let me figure it out here. So literally, it like I set my phone down on my laptop, but I didn't realize I like actually set it on the period somehow, and it just started typing periods into a Discord channel, and all of a sudden my computer fan started going to, and I looked at my memory usage, and I had like 200K available, and it was like almost all being used by Discord. And all those, no, don't do it. What? No, why? I don't know what's going on.
All right, are you ready to start?
Wait, hold on. Discord might break again. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
My favorite Bob is the Bob that's like curious and worried about what's happening. What's happening? No! Oh my God! What? No! No! Oh my gosh! Don't do that! I feel like this happens every couple shows. This happens, and this is so amusing.
I really don't know what's going on. Though everything's still stuck in Discord. Like even after I restarted,
it's just funny for me to hear like you try to like figure out what's going on. Like what the hell? What is the? Don't do that! No! Like, go over here!
Why is this Discord is like really confused and like I can't do anything.
I would like just to say I'm checking my RAM right now, and I'm only using 8 out of 16 gigs with all these applications.
Periods to a channel. See what happens.
Let me see. Let me see what happens.
I don't know if it was periods. No, don't do it. Because like now that I'm looking at it, like it was on the other side of the keyboard now. Like
I'm typing in a bunch of periods and nothing's happening. So
it must have been a different code. Like I must have been sending a combination of characters. Like I don't even have like I don't have a send button.
I don't know, but I'm glad that only 8 out of 16. I checked because right when you said RAM, I'm like, oh, I should check my RAM and see if how it's going.
Am I literally going to have to? Oh my gosh. I literally had to send a picture in order to get out of. All right. I think Discord's back to normal.
Oh God, thank you. Please, can we start?
The only way I could get that message of periods to go away was to literally send a picture to that channel, because it was the only way I could actually get a send button. Enter wasn't working on it until I sent it. Then now it's working. It was weird. I have no idea. Moral of the story, guys, be careful where you set your phone.
It's just a bunch of random weird characters. A picture of you in the snow, like.
Well, actually, did you see that picture? Like my car is literally there. Did you see it?
Yeah.
All right. Muting my phone. I'm not setting it on the keyboard.
All right.
And I think I'm ready to go. Let me clear out my Audacity buffer. And let's do it.
Yes. All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, Freddy.
3, 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaster Talk Podcast. This is episode number 118 of the show. It's May 2nd, 2021. I'm your host, James.
And I'm your other host, Bob.
And Bob, just like last week's show, titled Not the Greatest Adventure, the actual audio quality of the show was not the greatest. My bad.
I keep telling you about the Yetis, man.
Keep telling me about the Blue Yeti, which sounds great right now, but then when Bob isn't present, it's like goes to crap. It's the same thing with the people at Great Adventure. It's just Bob just attracts badness.
It's true, and I don't know why. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I just think I noticed it about halfway through. I'm like, Bob, this audio sucks. And he's like, we got to go. We don't got time to be redoing parts, and we just got to make it cohesive. We got to make it sound, good all the way around.
And it was like the sun wasn't even awake.
Yeah, it was pretty dang early. So yeah, it was
bed. That is usually when I go to bed, not wake up.
Yeah, it was an issue that I saw while recording, so it wasn't any issue with like the mic we were recording with or anything like that. I could have fixed it, but yeah, we didn't have the time nor the patience. So you got what you got. Sorry about that, folks. We're back to normal this week though, with some decent audio quality here. ready to
what we
start a new
think. I
episode of
mean,
the show.
the show has only just begun, so
Yeah.
we don't really know what fate has in store.
I hope to God. Right now, we just sound like we're screaming at the top of our lungs. Probably to many people listening, maybe. Hopefully not. But
anything is possible.
anything is possible when you got James and Bob in a room.
Yeah, I mean, for all you know, like the big bad wolf could come knock on your door and huff and puff and blow your roof off.
Yeah, he could. And that's what happened to Verbolten. The big bad wolf blew it down. The bridge of the on the ride there, right over the Rhine River, seemingly collapsed, which has caused its removal, which now basically leaves a steel superstructure painted brown, and it looks wooden.
I don't think I'd call it a superstructure.
Yeah, well,
it's a structure.
It's a structure, and
it's not really super.
It's not super. No, it looks pretty bad now. Because of this, it just looks like a giant metal bridge now. It really looks awful.
You know what's
and I have a feeling they're leaving it up there for good. So that's what sucks.
There's everybody. I always heard everybody say to me, like, "Oh, did you hear that audio track of like those noises? Like the bridge was gonna fall down." And like people literally thought those were like audio tracks.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was part of the
really
theming.
Seriously falling apart.
You guys are just lucky that no one was on it when it actually happened. All right. Thank God. But yeah, this seems to be because of a storm, because Busch Gardens Williamsburg fans actually tweeted out a statement saying that they had actually no documentation of this happening. This isn't something that was scheduled maintenance. So seemingly a storm came and knocked this over, and then they basically just had to finish what the storm started kind of thing and take down the rest of what was left. Because there's debris all over the ground still around the hill where Verbolten, the drop is. There's debris from the wreckage there. And so, yeah, hopefully, and I mean, this isn't happening, I guarantee it, but hopefully we see them come and replace the bridge. But I have a strong feeling that we're just going to see the structure stay dormant with no added theming.
I mean, even if they don't rebuild the roof or whatever, I hope they at least make it look like it's a bridge, and like don't leave it looking awkward like it is right now.
Yeah,
because it does look awkward. It's like a bridge with like just random steel beams.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna have those audio. I'm sure that audio is still playing, and it's like, wait, what? Doesn't even feel like a bridge anymore.
Covered bridge.
And it's gonna be those crackling noises and all that you were explaining earlier. Those are actually a part of the ride, and those are still gonna be playing. And it's gonna be like, wait, what? This isn't.
But I mean, like if you're not gonna rebuild the roof, though, at least take those steel beams down and maybe add some things to the side that like at least drive. I mean, please rebuild the roof.
Please.
If you're not going to, like, at least make it look like it's a bridge, and
or to be honest, removing it in its entirety would probably look better than just leaving it as is. I think
they'll remove the whole thing and still have the noises playing.
No, just get rid of everything. Yeah, still have the noises playing, but yeah, just get rid of everything at that point. I mean, that would be so weird. Oh, I never imagined in my wildest dreams something like this happening. It's gonna look so weird. Oh, one of the best theme rides outside of Disney and Universal is just slowly losing its theming.
Look at Disney. Even the Yeti hasn't worked for like.
Yeah, but typically with the Disney and Universal rides, the theming they have is maintained pretty well. The indoor section of Verbolten is already starting to, like, some of the 3D effects have gone, and some of the strobe lights have gone, and it's already starting to deteriorate inside. And now the outside, I mean, obviously this wasn't planned, but still, like, the ride's starting to lose some of its charm.
$50 million on a roller coaster. Why would you want to maintain it? I mean, wait, what?
Yeah. Why would you want to keep it nice?
It's like buying a Corvette and never washing it.
Exactly. Exactly. I have faith. I really do. Busch typically, even with Verbolten, some of the things they've done to fix the interior of the Dark Castle, or not the Dark Castle, the Black Forest. The Dark Castle is another story. The Black Forest, they've done some things to try to improve it, so I really hope that they don't just abandon the bridge project. Hopefully that is something that's revitalized here soon, because that roof, I mean, that was the theming of that bridge. I mean, it looked like it was collapsing. They had like wood that was rotting out. It looked like road that was rotting out and everything. But yeah, I really would have liked to seen it get destroyed. That would have been kind of cool, at least, you know. Like if that was like happening while I was on the ride, it would really fit the theming well. Like, oh my God, everything's falling on us! What the hell? That would have at least been, you know, a cool spectacle to witness. But yeah,
It really is coming true.
you really should not have looked back while you were braving the Black Forest.
That's
and-
your punishment.
That's it. The bridge is just gonna kill you. um, some other awful things have occurred at seemingly peaceful and good. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me just stop. Stop the show. We're done. I don't know what I'm talking about. That was a bad transition.
You're in the
Awful.
bed. I've had enough.
I've had enough. I'm done. I quit. The bridge was the last straw. Some other... I'm trying to think of, like, I didn't want to say something else that could kill you. It's a bomb. I thought of that, and I was like, no, what else can I transition with? Oh. All right. Oh my
How
God,
far
this-
do I need to back up?
This bridge looks so bad. I'm looking at it again. It's like neutered. They neutered the dragon, and then they neutered this. I mean, not purposefully, obviously, but still.
How far do I need to back up, or should I just let it go?
I'm at 7 minutes and 37 seconds.
All right.
Watch you be like, wait a second, I'm at 10 minutes and 41 minutes seconds. What are you talking about?
I went through a wormhole. You might want to double check the sync on that, though. Just
Yeah, I will.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Wait, let me make sure one second. I'm actually gonna go to 7:36. .421.
All right. Hold on a second.
Okay.
This is what, 118?
Yeah.
You know, I haven't checked my storage space in a while. Let me just double check that because I don't want to run out of space. Well,
Boom, 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 boom.
31 gigs available. I think we're good on that. Ow! All right. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2.
If being impaled by a bridge or pieces of a bridge isn't scary enough, Knoebels actually had a true threat on their hands. Well, seemingly a true threat on their hands, as a bomb threat was called in to the park. The police currently investigating a bomb threat that was called into Knoebels. There was no actual immediate danger. There was no bomb found, but they are still looking into the actual individual who called it in. They're obviously trying to figure out who did that so they can take the proper action.
Why Knoebels?
Yeah. Why? I mean, a family
Are
park.
there people that hold grudges against Knoebels?
I don't know. The merchandise just wasn't cheap enough. It needs to be more cheap. I don't know. I mean, what else?
You need to visit a Six Flags park.
Yeah. Or SeaWorld.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm perplexed at this one. Hopefully they find whoever did it, and hopefully they find out a motive, because
I am very intrigued
bizarre.
and curious to see what, if anything. Maybe it's just a lunatic, crazy guy calling it in. But
I
if
mean,
there's
you tell
actually
me
a
this
reasoning
happens
behind
at
it,
Six Flags. Okay. Cedar Fair,
just another
maybe.
day.
Okay. Kennywood, yeah, totally get it.
They got rid of my
Noble?
kangaroo.
I don't. That's just. I mean, of all the parks, Knoebels is like the last park I'd expect to hear that at.
I know. This is why we can't have nice things. We got a great park with great rides, great service, customer service, great management, great. I mean, all the way up to the top of the board. Dick there is a great park manager and owner. So
The kids are doing a good job taking over as well.
exactly. So I don't see any reasoning behind it, unless I don't know, unless he got screwed up maybe with some sort of pricing issue. I don't know. Maybe he was upset about. I can't imagine though. I mean, that's all I can think of. Like, I can just imagine walking up. That'll be $15 for a ticket. $15, and I don't know. But I mean, a $15 ticket at Kennywood, Knoebels would give you like on all day access to all the rides. So, I mean, that's how it works. I mean, it's so inexpensive.
I don't know.
I can't. That's all I can imagine though, is something like that, or maybe a customer service issue. But again, they have excellent. I mean, I would assume this is just crazy town guy calling in. And
you had said before the show, you had said you had heard that they had just closed Phoenix for a weather delay.
Yeah, they stay.
I think it's a weather delay. Pay no attention to the bomb sniffing dogs back there.
Pay no attention to the large bomb in the middle of the plaza.
It's only that part of the park. The storm only affects that part of the park.
Yeah.
When has Phoenix ever gone down for weather?
I think that was definitely just so everyone will remain calm. Let's get these people out of the station. Hey, we're closed due to weather. Please leave. Vacate the area.
What was the weather too? Like a nice sunny day.
It's like 80 degrees and sunny. 80 degrees, sunny, beautiful. We're worried it's a little too nice out, guys. That we're pessimistic about this. We think there's going to be some rain coming soon. Please leave. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, another news, a little bit out of the negative, out of the very scary.
I don't know. I don't know where this falls actually.
It's definitely not scary. At least we can not life-threatening. Cedar Point has dropped. Cedar Point has dropped mask requirements, and there are no more temperature checks necessary. This seems to be implemented at, I think, Kings Island as well, but I don't know of the other Cedar Fair parks. I don't know if Kings Dominion has touched base on this issue yet.
Well, I mean, I guess you're gonna have to go by state guidance, state regulations.
Sure.
So,
but it seems. I mean, I even heard that, and sorry to cut you off here, but it seems that we're all going in that direction. I know I heard a report actually on the news this morning. Northam is considering by June no COVID restrictions anymore on capacity at any venues. So I mean, it seems like we're all kind of heading in that direction of there being looser and looser restrictions.
For outdoor.
I heard. Well, I just said outdoor venues, but I was specifying because this is an outdoor venue. But I don't think it actually specified that in the actual report. I think it was just no capacity restrictions in general.
I mean, this announcement, I have no issue with this announcement. The CDC has also said that vaccinated people in open air, like outdoors, that aren't in where you can socially distance, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah, when you're not in close proximity with people.
But it's interesting because Cedar Fair is just like, you know what? Whatever. Vaccinated, not vaccinated, just don't wear masks. Which I'm still okay with. But here's the problem they're not being real clear about. They specifically said, no, you don't have to wear your mask if you're in an area where you can socially distance.
Okay,
so when you're walking through the park, you don't have to wear a mask. That's fine. Okay, I get it. Like that doesn't concern me at all. Well, what about when you're standing in line? You're
Yeah,
supposed to
sure.
be socially distant, and technically you can socially distant, but nobody does. So what's Cedar Point's stance on this going to be? You have to wear a mask in line, or are they actually going to stand there and say, "Hey, 6 feet. Hey, 6 feet. Hey, 6 feet." Like which way are you going to go?
Yeah. Or are you just
And
gonna
to me that
say,
bugs me.
who cares? That could be the
Yeah,
stance
and
as well.
like I mean, for me, that kind of bugs me. Like I have no problem walking through the park without a mask on, other people not wearing a mask. Like we've kind of hit that point. We understand more. We understand that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're standing right next to me and I can feel your breath, you better have a mask on. Like, I mean, that bugs me. So I think Cedar Point needs to kind of clarify this because, and I don't care which way you are, which way you feel, they need to make this like they need to be upfront about this so that people can make the best decision on whether they go to the park or not. I mean, if you know, everybody always says if you're not comfortable with the regulations, don't go. Well, then you need to tell us the regulations. So I really think that they need to kind of clarify that.
Yeah, they need to definitely explain and sort out what's going on. Because yeah, right now it is up in the air completely. It is not it is required to wear a mask when you're inside, and unless you're eating or drinking still, so that's still being implemented. But again, I mean, most things at the parks, and that's why we earlier on in the year when California was saying, "Oh, you can't reopen," we were going, "Well, I mean, 99% of the things to do at parks are outside. I mean, yes, you have those indoor
Right.
restaurants and stuff, but those don't have to be open. Those aren't necessary. You could just have someone set out a shop outside. You could accommodate for that. So, yeah,
Right, exactly. But it's that the lines. The
the
lines are the
lines. Yeah,
were
I
that's
agree.
gonna be the contentious point, and I think they really need to clarify that. Because, hey, I'm okay without the masks as long as somebody's gonna actually be there and actually truly enforce, because
Well, the thing
nobody
is, though,
does it on
Bob,
their own.
as perfect as it sounds, that if they say, "Hey guys, when you're in line, we want you to wear a mask," if everyone's walking around the park without a mask, nobody's just gonna therefore get in line and put on a mask. As good as it sounds, and as many people will
I
comply, as that many people will not as well.
see, and that yeah, I
And
don't
that's gonna
know.
happen. Like, and whether or not your stance on that is a different question, but and whether how you feel, but that's gonna happen. I mean, I saw it when we went when this all first started in Fun Spot. I mean, not Fun Spot. I went to Funland at Fredericksburg. Excuse me. And that was like the first month that they were requiring masks for, like, that was like when it became a thing to wear masks, because for a while there it was like up in the air whether or not they were actually effective or not, and we
Yeah.
were all kind of deciding whether or not, and then they were like finally like, yep, wear them. The same thing kind of happened. We were outdoor. The indoor part of Funland wasn't open, but the outdoor was, and they said you don't have to wear masks unless you're standing in line. Nobody wore masks in line. Nobody did. Not I don't even think I did yet, because the reason being, I didn't really know. This is like, again, when it first came out that they were, whether or
Yeah,
not they were
well, but,
effective or
I
not.
mean,
I
you've
was still
also
kind of
had
questioning. But that kind of happened where nobody was wearing masks.
there was
Funland was
also
kind of
there was also a
asking us
shortage
to.
of masks too.
There was, but they were asking people to wear masks, but not. I don't even know. I don't even remember if the employees were. To be honest, not nobody pretty much is wearing masks. I think I had mine on, but I mean, I would take it down. I mean, it was like 90 degrees still, but yes, that was something that I saw early on back when COVID first started. So I highly anticipate this to happen at Cedar
But
Point.
I could see this going multiple ways, and Dollywood announced this even before the CDC made the announcement, something very similar to this. And, I kinda think that a lot of it was, "Hey, maybe if we give people if you don't have to wear it all day, maybe some people will be more willing to comply in the areas where it really matters." And I think that I think there's a certain number of people that will behave that way.
Sure.
Um, but again, this all kinda goes back to Cedar Point's not being real clear on what the requirements actually are gonna be. What does standing in line look like? And, like, if you're standing in line in Maverick, like, that's sort of indoor. How does that classify. I mean, let's face it, Cedar Point's lines, you can't socially distance or you're not going to fit in the park. I mean, could you
Yeah,
imagine Maverick's line if everybody stood 6 feet apart? You'd be like standing.
you'd
The line
be
would start at gate.
exactly. It would start up at the front of the park there. Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. I think
But the
they.
thing
I mean,
is,
so in
again,
that, like,
as much as
I
I
don't know.
agree that there's going to be a total amount of people, there's going to be an amount of people, maybe even a large quantity of people that do think in that respect of, oh, I'm not having to wear my mask, so now when they ask me to, I will comply. I just, even if it's a small percentage, there's going to be those people that go, no, I haven't worn it all day, I'm fine, I don't care, I'm not putting it on. That's going to happen.
Well, and I mean, we have those people already though that just don't wear masks anyway.
Well,
I mean,
it's very small and minute percentage. I think the number would be higher if they say, just based on my hypothesis here. I would think that the number is going to be higher if they're already not wearing masks.
I mean, it also depends on geographical areas
Sure, like
because let me tell you, when I crossed the line, I was really shocked when I first moved to West Virginia how good compliance was. Let me tell you though, in the last 2 months, it's very different. Mass compliance around here is not that great. But when I go to work in Northern Virginia, mass compliance is still really good. So, you know, you know, it's going to depend.
But I
And
feel
with
like
Cedar Point, where you're attracting people from different areas,
all over. There's going to be a variable.
Depend,
There's going to be
it's
a
gonna
variable
depend on
there.
what
You don't
mix of
know
people
how certain. I mean, one day it could be a majority of people from the cities of Ohio, and they all are complying, and then there's people from, here and there, and every which way, and it's going to differentiate depending on the day, sure, and where the people are from. But I just feel like there's going to be a larger majority. And again, I'm not necessarily saying this is bad or good or whatever, but I just feel like what's going to happen is people are not going to be wearing masks. They're going to be used to it. They're going to be fine with it. And they're just going to go, they told me to wear a mask in line. I've been wearing a mask all day. I'm fine. Well, I'm just not going to wear it. I just foresee it. Again, not good or bad or ugly. I'm not going to say whether or not, I mean, I would wear it. I would totally, like, when I go to Cedar Point, if they ask me to wear it in line, even if they don't necessarily, and people are like on top of me, I might just do it. Because I don't want to get COVID. But again, I just feel like that's going to happen. But I'll be reporting on this. I'll be at Cedar Point for opening day, or the day after opening day. Actually, I'll be there the 15th. They open on the 14th. So I'll be there for opening weekend, and I'll get to report on it here very soon to see what their safety measures are.
I think one of the biggest things is Cedar Point needs to say, like, this is how lines look. This is what we're saying. This is what our guidelines are. This is what our requirements are. And then they need to stick to them, whatever they are. Because everybody that says, if you don't feel comfortable, don't go, you no longer can say that if the park is not following through on what they said. Because people make decisions to go to a park based on what they're saying. If they don't follow through with that, then there's a problem. You have to, and I'm not going to take a stance on either side. Which way you think, which way you feel, whatever. All I'm saying is you need to be upfront. This is our plans. This is what we're doing. And then when you say that, you need to follow through and you need to enforce whatever it was you announced. I think that's the most important thing that has to happen.
You need to uphold your word and uphold your values that you stated were going to be implemented. For sure. And again, Cedar Point always, especially Cedar Fair as a company, but Cedar Point, they're always preaching safety and safety measures, and we are always in the best interest of our guests. And if you're really in the best interest of your guests, you would clarify and announce your true intentions for people And again, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. This can just be to prevent those people that are nervous or are scared, or the opposite, the
Exactly.
people that don't want to go because they're going to be enforcing masks. There are those people
Exactly.
too. So, either way, yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, you can even just look at this as a customer service issue too. You're gonna have a
Yeah,
lot of pissed off people if
yeah,
they show up thinking one thing and something else is happening.
yeah. I thought it was interesting too when I saw that they're not requiring them. And then again, like, when are they going to consider? When are they going to consider, like, I feel like the midways could get very crowded, and at that point, are they going to just announce, everyone, please put your mask on? The midways are too crowded. You are not socially distant. Like, I'm curious of that, to see
Have
how
like
they.
sirens go off. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Woo! This is the
Please
announcement of
put
the
on
annual
your mask
purge. I'm just
now.
kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that as well. Like, at what point does the midways become too crowded, or is there a line for a restaurant? Are they gonna? How are they gonna do that? Because think about it. We were at Great Adventure the other day. I mean, there was a line for the restaurant pouring out onto the midway. Is that
God.
they weren't? I mean, I just don't know how they're gonna do it. It's interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
And I have to say, like, mask compliance was actually pretty good at Great Adventure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought so as well. I saw very few with no masks on. They're still asking you at Cedar Point to download the mobile app. That's something that's still being pushed. But Bob, again, when he went to Winter Chill Out, said there was little enforcement of
Yeah.
that.
There was no enforcement of that at all. I hope it
Mhm.
remains that way because if you tell me that my phone has to have a app installed with location services enabled so that you can watch me, I take myself to guest services and say, "Hey, when I bought my season pass, this isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do?" Because
Bad
I
boys, bad
mean,
boys. What you gonna
yeah,
do? What you gonna
exactly.
do when Bob comes for you? Yeah. So the mobile app doesn't seem to be something that is actually going to be implemented as strictly as we might have thought. Um,
I certainly hope not.
yeah, at least at the Winter Chill Out event, you did say that they were
Yeah.
just as persistent in that
I
respect
mean,
of the
all
mobile
the
app as they are
documentation
being with
said it's
their.
you have to do this, you have to
Yeah.
do this, and then we got there and
So they're
like
being just as
nothing.
persistent as they are on their marketing for the actual COVID safety features that they were for that ACE event. So hopefully they play out the same way. Um, there's going to be hand sanitizer, reservations required, but there's no temperature checks. Instead, there's going to be health screenings, which apparently they had last year. I had
This is gonna
little
be
node.
entertaining.
To be honest, I went to Kings Island, Carowinds, and Kings Dominion last year and never once filled out a health screen. And apparently that Bob is telling me that they did those last year.
Yes, it was supposedly a requirement. I don't think I did any either. I mean, I knew about them and still didn't do them.
But I went to three different like maybe one of the locations is enforcing it. Carowinds was really strict about COVID stuff too. I mean, there was like very little people. They only opened like a third of the park. Like everything was being
Actually, come to
very.
think of it, I didn't go to any Cedar Fair parks last year, so that would be why.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you went to Kings Dominion and just didn't tell me, but I was like, all right.
No, that's right. Like I did. Well, I mean, last year was 2019, right?
Yeah. Oh, then we went to a bunch of them. Then
I
yeah.
still don't know what year it is.
Uh,
But yeah, it definitely was a thing, and it definitely was a thing that didn't seem to happen the way it was supposed to.
you know what all of this
But
is? It's all a PR stunt. It's all trying to generate the same attitude they have when they're like, "Oh, we're committed to your safety. We're committed to."
yeah,
It's just a lot of fluff
it's
that's there for the business benefits of it, and the
it's
people that
just
will
all
come in
it's
and
theatrics is what it is.
it
It's
is,
like, look,
yeah.
we care. This is why we're asking you all these questions that anybody could lie about.
and once you answer and once you lie to us, we know that you're like it's yeah. Therefore, we mm. And the
I
same thing
mean,
with the temperature
I
checks,
would
though. Like
say,
you could
if
sit in your
anything,
car and just blast the AC on your forehead for
oh yeah,
15
the temperature
seconds.
checks, especially like the non-contact temperature checks, those just are they really don't do anything. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably some cases that occurred where somebody went, "Oh, I have a temperature," and that was literally the first that they knew they had a temperature. But those cases were, I guarantee you, were very rare. There were more than likely a lot more false positives because you're standing in the heat,
Yeah,
and like I've had I actually had I had to make I went to work like last year. Like this was right after like I don't know what it wasn't like freezing cold, but it was maybe like 50 something outside. And I had to make a phone call, and you can't hear to make phone calls in the data center. So I literally stood outside for about 20 minutes talking on the phone. And I immediately went in, and they were doing the touchless temperature screening there. And my temperature was 91 degrees.
Same thing happened to me, but at a doctor's office. I went into the doctor's office when COVID was happening, and this was like maybe a year ago, and they take my temperature, and it's like 90.3 or something, and she looks at me and she's like, "You should be dead right now." I'm like, I mean, it was obviously joking. She's like, "Yeah, it's probably just." Yeah, I was pretty cold. It would have been. It was cold out. I think it was during February or March of last year, so it was still chilly out, and yeah, that's what was happening. So yeah, temperature checks are pretty pointless, and there's nothing new about that. I think most people know that.
This is the thing I don't get about these screenings that they're doing. The whole thing, like the screenings you had to do, were supposed to be done online. You had to answer a bunch of questions,
like a questionnaire, yeah, like a check here.
And okay, so obviously people weren't doing it. That's why they're kind of forcing you to do it. But I mean, how long is it going to take to get into the parks? Because if they're going to ask all these questions, I mean, they do this now for me going into most data centers, and let me tell you, when
yes,
4 people going into a data center, it backs up.
Yeah,
there's significantly more people going into Cedar Point.
I was going to there was another doctor I was going to for a while. I had to continually visit every week. Every week I walked in there, it was like 15 questions. Do you have this symptom? Do you have that symptom? Do you have that symptom? Do you have this symptom? Do you have this? Do you have that? Have you felt this way? Have you been around somebody like this? It's like, oh my gosh. No. I mean, and who honestly is going to go, yeah, I have COVID. Let me buy this ticket to Cedar Point and go. Like, let's spread it up. Woo! Let's have a party. Like obviously they're not going to knowingly go. And so nobody's going to answer yes to this. Everyone that has COVID and is going isn't going to know it, and anyone that has it is not going to go. And even if they do have it and they know it, they're not going to answer yet. I mean, they obviously are going to buy the ticket. They're not going to just be like, "Yep, I have COVID, sorry," and not go. Like, the logic behind that, the rationale behind that, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't see how they can
going to prevent anything. The only thing that I could see is if there's an outbreak that occurs at Cedar Point, maybe there's some kind of legal, like, now they have legal recourse to go back to you and say, "Hey, we traced it back to you. Like, you're now responsible." I don't understand. I don't know. I am not a lawyer. I don't know how this plays out, but that's the only thing that I can logically think is that, okay, you declared that you don't have symptoms, yada, 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 and there's an outbreak that was traced back to you.
How would Cedar Point trace it back to them?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the only logical thing that makes sense to me.
I think if they had that great of science, they wouldn't need health screenings in the first place. If they could somehow just trace it back to this one individual, all these thousands of people got it in this park, and we can get it back to this one guy over there by the churro stand. I don't know, but yeah, and I don't know why other parks wouldn't be doing it as well if that was the case, if it was some sort of legal thing. I don't know. Like, we haven't seen any SeaWorld parks do it. Any the fun spot parks that I went to did it. None of the Six Flags parks have done it. Universal didn't do it.
Cedar Fair always has seemed to be the let's find a way to make it possible that absolutely everything is somebody else's fault. Like, Cedar Fair is never responsible for anything that happens in their parks. Oh, Still Vengeance bumped. RMC. Oh, Valravn bumped. B&M.
The most reliable
like,
manufacturer on the planet.
I, um, and like that. I mean, that's also why they don't. They won't do like I mean they do a fair amount of normal maintenance themselves, but like major maintenance that like other like for instance Hershey Park makes their own parts. Cedar Fair refuses to make their own parts. I mean, Hershey's a single part.
They just buy cheap knockoffs.
Well, but see, again, though, that liability in their mind was the person they were buying it off of. Like it's they hide themselves, which is like that's why that whole
they always have a scapegoat. Kind of.
Tech, the company that they were like they went to and they're like, oh hey, there was like some manufacturing plant in Dayton, Ohio that they're like, hey, we need somebody to make parts for our Intamin stuff, basically.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, oh, okay, well, they don't want to make them themselves. Like this, if something happens, well, here's this company that we can sue. Like, and that's like, it seems like Cedar Fair always kind of sets themselves up for that. So to me, it doesn't surprise me that Cedar Fair is the one doing this because this is like, well, we're not really sure, but let's do it just in case, because if something happens, maybe we can find a way to wiggle out of it and blame it on somebody else. Whereas, like,
they do take a lot of avenues in order to protect themselves, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the other parks are like, look, you know, if we make a mistake, we make a mistake, and
we're human.
Right. Like, we're going to, like, you know, I mean, any corporation is going to try to find a way, like, well, like to kind of mitigate it. But like Cedar Fair just is like from even just in case, like, let's see, who can we blame? And I'm sure they probably have flow charts. Like if this happens, this is who we might be able to blame. That's just kind of always
it's like
been
the food web. Who can we got this guy over there. He's eating us. All right, well, let's get him over here. Drawing a whole diagram here.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not been legally tested, it's just kind of a, well, just in case, maybe.
I'm still curious, but let's move on. I think we've hit the nail on the head with the Cedar Point discussion.
We've talked a little bit about it.
A little bit. I think we spent like 30 minutes talking about it or something. About like one little news story, and that expanded, of course, into this whole contraption of talk.
That's how this show. Where have you been? That's how this show works, James.
I don't know where I've been. I've been zoning out. I've been tuning you out.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. SeaWorld Orlando is testing with humans aboard the trains on Icebreaker.
They're testing humans.
Yeah.
They're testing with humans. This is the segment of the show where we say that everything is trying to open. That is, except for Orange.
SeaWorld is messing around with some eugenics. I'm just kidding. They're testing with humans. No. They're testing Icebreaker with humans aboard the trains. I believe I've heard this is this is team member previews for this ride, which would indicate that soon we'll see this open, because we're seeing right now Velocicoaster is testing with the team members, and in a month that'll be opening up. So many people think, hopefully that means that we're finally, fingers crossed, finally seeing this thing open up. I don't know, one way or another. I don't see them doing this. I think this is definitely an indication. They haven't tested with humans before. This isn't like Velocicoaster where we saw people on it a couple months ago for the media shoots and all that. This is the first time we've seen this. It seems that these are team members, so I think it's pretty apparent that that is what they're looking for. Hopefully sometime before Memorial Day we see this open. You know, that's what we're shooting for, hopefully.
And before you ask, there is no opening date for Iron Gwazi.
Iron Gwazi, on the other hand, they started to deconstruct. It is done for. It's
Pantheon's an interesting case because apparently there's those of all things, James City County. Is that what it is? Is it really James City County?
Yeah, it's my county.
James City County. Not James County, it's James City County.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
city inside the county.
is that really? Oh, it
lit-
is
that
the
is-
city.
That is the name of the county.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Well, anyway, of all things, they rejected
Yeah,
Busch Gardens' plan for planting stuff.
yeah.
Yes, flowers and trees.
Landscaping, yeah.
That is what's keeping us from riding Pantheon, it seems, right now.
These mother. I mean, I
Shut
swear
your
to God.
mouth.
They're always up to. I feel like James City County can never just let us go and let us ride. It's like there's always something or
Well,
something
In
being held up.
fairness, though, I mean, first off, this is dumb, but
That should be it, Bob.
Busch
There should be no
Gardens
but
isn't
here.
getting off scot-free because apparently James City flat out said, "Here's the requirements," and Busch Gardens tried to like not do them how they were said, and now they're trying to like get a waiver and stuff. It's like, but
But
you
really,
should
should
have
there
wavered
be
that before?
should there be all of this nonsense for some flowers
No,
though?
I
In the first place, I don't care what
no,
rules and
probably
regulations were set up by the
probably
county.
not. Probably not. But what I'm saying
You
is
can only plant red flowers.
Busch Gardens knew about this before, so why are we here at the point where we should be riding Actually, the year after we should be riding Pantheon, and
Yeah.
they're just now dealing with this. Like this
Yeah,
should have been like,
I don't
hey
agree. I
guys,
don't. They're not getting off scot free, but there shouldn't be this big of a dilemma over landscaping in the first place. As much as yes, Bush shouldn't have trying to gone around their backs like that. It shouldn't be something to go around the back. I don't feel like there should be that kind of scenario even happening, unfolding.
I guess I like this is one of those things where you have well-intended ideas that kind of go a little bit too far. I mean, I understand like, oh, we want things to look good from the river and stuff like that. And that makes complete sense on why you'd have some landscaping requirements and stuff like that. But Bush's whole argument is you can't even see the shed that we want to build from, like, you can't see it outside of Busch Gardens property, so it shouldn't matter. Which
Yeah.
I agree with. Like that's not like that's the whole essence, the whole reason why you have these requirements in the county don't really apply.
Mhm.
But again, they should have wavered this a lot sooner than now. You know, I mean, there's just a whole lot of like
Maybe
mockery going
in all
on
honesty,
down there.
what if this is the thought process behind it? We're not ready to open this ride yet. What can we do to completely unfold and not open it up as early as possible? Oh, let's just screw James City County. Let's just build this thing they said not to and do all this thing they said not to. So we could be another Cedar Fair blaming thing. You know, could be like James City County's not letting us open it, so it doesn't look delayed even further. I don't know. That's all.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I don't know why you would deliberately like. Again, I don't think there should be anything to really.
Actually, no. This is what's happening. They finally found another way to screw their platinum pass holders. That's
it.
what's happening here because
everything I said, scratch it.
If you push this far enough, the platinum pass holders that bought a platinum pass bought a platinum pass for the Pantheon rider benefit will no longer have their platinum pass by time you can actually ride Pantheon. And therefore, we're screwed again.
There you go. That's it. It's a conspiracy.
That's what this all boils down to. This is another way to tick off platinum pass holders.
That's it.
And
scratch everything I was saying. Scrap it. I retract my original stance. Well, Bob, I know you're not a fan of the season pass program at SeaWorld and the SeaWorld parks, but you might be a fan of a retro ride coming back and one that you might not have ridden, but nonetheless, it is a ride that was operating in the 70s and 80s. That was your prime, I know. Knott's Berry Tales.
You're half right.
Yeah, I know. It's all the same, right? That's how we think. That's how us screenagers think. It's all the same. Knott's Berry Tales, Return to the Fair is the new.
It's the 1900s.
Oh,
It was all before your time, right?
Yep, it was.
Exactly. 19. Like, oh my God. How old are you?
Did you say 19th century or 1900s?
No, it's 1900.
No.
It's encompassing 19XX.
Yeah. But yes, this is a dark ride that operated from 1975 to 1986, and they're bringing it back. It's in the same location that the old ride occupied. It's been multiple different things. It recently was Voyage to the Iron Reef for any frequent Knott's visitors that might not have heard about this. That's where this is being implemented. It's a Triotech dark ride. It's a shoot ride. You have like a laser pointer, and they actually call it the Jelly Blaster because, of course, Knott's Berry Farm, going along with the Boysenberry Jam theme that they always go with in a lot of their events and festivals and rides. And yeah, this is an exciting addition for them. It's interesting to see them play on something like this. I would love to see other, especially like corporate parks. We know Knoebels and Kennywood, even to an extent, have those older rides that kind of do pull that nostalgia string for many. Kennywood's starting to loosen that grip, but they still got it. They still have some rides that do that. It's interesting to see a corporate park to kind of go back to that and allude back to their past. A lot of corporate parks are like, well, it's in the future. It's in the future. Let's look to the future. Let's build new rides. Let's do this. But it's interesting to see them play on an older ride of theirs.
This is this is West Coast. This is great. I like to see retro stuff come back. But here's what I'm saying. Bring back Berenstein Bear Country to Cedar Point. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And then let's have this debate on whether it's the Berenstein or Berenstain Bears.
And we can have a debate on whether or not they're relevant. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That
I triggered him. I triggered him.
It is. I never actually thought of that. Was it actually Berenstein Bears or Berenstain Bears?
It's Berenstein.
Which time loop was I in when I actually experienced that as a child? You do know about this whole thing, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're looking like you're clueless, so I'm going to go.
Yeah, I am not sure. I don't know. You might want to explain it for me and for probably half the audience that's not understanding.
So, when I'm trying to think when this actually circulated.
Was this a phenomenon?
Everybody that remembers these bears remembers them as the Berenstein Bears. Everybody, like 90% of Americans that were alive when these were the really, really popular bears.
I was alive.
Remembers them as the Berenstein Bears. There is no reference that you can find anywhere to the Berenstein Bears. It's the Berenstain Bears. So the only logical explanation is we've all of us have been transported into a parallel universe. There's no other way around it because
what?
This is a thing. Seriously, search it. And I'm not kidding you. When my sister sent me this message, like, what is it?
I was alive, but I never saw this. I'm confused.
I don't think you're old enough to really get this. Like this, but this is like literally what they were, the Berenstein Bears. Everybody knew them as the Berenstein Bears. And then all of a sudden, there's no reference to the Berenstein Bears. It's Berenstain Bears everywhere. Every reference, everything you find on the internet, everywhere, it's all the Berenstain Bears. And it just doesn't make sense because nobody remembers the Berenstain Bears. Nobody.
It might have just been
Nobody.
how quickly they.
Well, maybe
I
like
don't know
5% of people.
how quickly people were pronouncing it. The Berenstain Bears, like you barely.
But nobody remembers the A. Nobody remembers an A in that name ever. Ever. And
Yeah, I
Pam
don't
right
know.
now is saying,
I
oh,
don't
but
know.
the books were authored by the Berenstains. That's what I'm saying. In the other universe, the other parallel universe, it was authored by the Berenstein Bears or the Berensteins. That's the whole problem. We are in a parallel universe.
Yeah, that's it.
You believe me, right? You know
It's a
this,
paradox.
right?
Yeah.
I obviously I don't think we're in a parallel universe, but it's a very odd thing that I have no real explanation for because I mean, usually you have a lot of people that remember something different, but the amount of people that remember it this way is not insignificant.
I do.
You
I
remember
I,
what?
I remember the Berenstain Bears.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
So
I mean,
even
I
from
grew
the
up
early
in school.
2000s,
I mean, I was going to elementary school and we would watch the Berenstain Bears. Like they had the video, they had like the TV show with episodes that we would watch. I also read some of the books. Yeah, I loved the Berenstain Bears.
so you remember it as Berenstein.
Correct, I do.
And you
But
were like much younger. So you even like the parallel universe swap even happened after you were born.
it had to happen like sometime between now and 2009 or 10, because that's when I was in elementary school.
This is
Or maybe there's multiple different. Maybe we just keep switching universes. Maybe that's what's happening. I don't know.
I mean, maybe I don't know. This is just like I'm trying to remember when this actually was like this really circulated the internet rapidly for like a year. And I remember my sister texting me and
Yeah, I know. When was this? Was this the early 2000s? When was this? Because I was alive, and I don't remember this ever.
I'm gonna say it was probably like 2010ish.
Really, really. That
Yeah, I
surprises
may
me.
be completely wrong on that. Um, but yeah, it's like it's so weird. And like I'm not kidding you. Like I actually found one like an old book that I had and no, there it was Berenstain there was the A. I'm like, no, this isn't the book. Like, this is not the book. This isn't my book. Who swapped my book? This isn't right. Something's not right.
They're watching me. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's the last Thursday effect. How do you know that anything that happened last Thursday actually happened? And it wasn't just all last Thursday. Like that's just it's a phenomenon. It's like a paradox that it's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting how complex our minds are and how deep in thought we can get. But really, like the simplest paradoxes, the simplest puzzles can completely like we hear a different name pronunciation and it just throws our mind for a loop.
Well, so here's a weird like even I mean we're so far off topic. We might as well run with it. There was apparently like during this there was actually there was a photograph posted to Reddit where the spine of VHS cassette. Yes, I remember those.
I do as well.
Actually said Berenstein Bears. And like people were trying to analyze it as a fake and they couldn't like it was basically like if this is a fake, it's seriously a good fake.
One slipped through the time
mean,
warp.
Yeah, is it just that it's such a such
Guys,
such
I know
weird...
you tune in for Coaster Talk, but this week we've definitely
this
gone
does
off the
have
rails
loose
to
ties
something.
to Cedar Point. This
To Cedar Point and a little bit to Knott's with the bear theme here. But yeah, so this definitely reminds me of the last Thursday concept. It's like, how can you can't disprove that the universe wasn't created last Thursday because you can't, like, it's not, you can't actually do it. It just interests me, like, that those kind of paradoxes, those kinds of things can completely bamboozle us, and I mean, it can't be proven. People try, but it's, I don't know. All right, well, let's try to escape this paradox. Let's get out of this loop.
In a parallel universe, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll never get out.
Let's try to escape it and get over to
Well,
something. Well,
maybe in a parallel universe, Iron Gwazi is actually running.
and maybe in a parallel universe, the polar coaster was built, and the polar coaster was built. It's supposed to be built by U.S. Thrill Rides.
The polar coaster exists where the Bernstein Bears exist.
Yeah, and the U.S. Thrill Rides manufacturing firm.
That's why it was guaranteed to be built, and then we never experienced it.
Yeah.
Because that was actually the timeline might match.
Maybe
That might match. That's why we went in. That is exactly when we went into the
2010s-ish,
parallel universe.
early 2010s.
That universe that we existed in at that time,
Still
they
has
actually
the polar
have.
coaster,
They
yeah.
actually have the polar coaster. We just swapped,
That's
and
it.
we're stuck with the Bernstein Bears and no polar coaster.
And we're stuck with a new Sky Coaster model of sorts. The creator of the Sky Coaster, who founded the U.S. Thrill Rides manufacturing firm, who also, again, created the polar coaster, or created the concept of the polar coaster, are now introducing the Sky Screamer, which, if you're familiar with the regular Sky Coasters, you have 3 riders in like a harness that hoists you up. You pull the ripcord and it drops you. This is now going to be, imagine like a pendulum ride, and that's what this ride vehicle is basically. You have the cord attached to it, and it lifts you up via the same mechanism kind of that the regular Sky Coasters do. You get up there, and then they drop you. And it's an interesting concept. I know some people are arguing that it's not going to be necessarily as fun or as thrilling, but I think it has potential to be a very good ride. I would totally be excited to check this out. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" I'm always excited because I know they did the new concept with the sit-down harness on the one at Fun Spot for a while, and that was interesting. And I mean, this isn't too far off from sitting down. Yes, you're sitting down in a harness, but now you're sitting down in a circular vehicle. But
I think
still,
Giant Discoveries will kick this thing's butt still. The Zamperla Giant Discoveries, like Black Widow, and I mean, it just, this doesn't. This takes everything this is for and gets rid of it. The whole thing about a Sky Coaster is it's just like you feel like you're just gonna die. Like you're in a harness. You're just like, there's nothing surrounding you. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to completely crap on this ride. Well, other than the fact that if you click on the ride promo, the background shows the polar coaster. I mean, that's kind of a, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But I don't know. This could end up being a fun ride. Like I don't want to say, oh, this is just going to be a boring ride. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think it's what it's hyped up to be. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like.
Well, I know you just said the Giant Discoveries. I think this will be better than Giant Discoveries because of one factor, and that's because the Giant Discoveries haven't gotten this big yet. This is going to be a 300-foot attraction, or at least the one that they're marketing is going to be 300 feet. The Giant Discoveries, I think, have only gotten to about. I mean, I think the Six Flags marketing team always says they never release the actual height, but they always say they're 17 stories, which if we convert that to feet, it's about 10 feet. So that's about 170 feet, maybe a little bit more, depending on how generous we're being. But still, I think
the Giant Discoveries invert you. Like, they go above 180 degrees. This will not.
No, but I don't think that doesn't really factor into the actual ride experience. I don't think
Oh,
on
I
Giant
think
Discoveries.
that's a huge bit into the ride experience.
And we don't know necessarily that doesn't happen on the Sky Coasters. Actually, it might when it once it releases you, if it swings you up far enough, you might start not.
Wait, hold up. Physics. How are you going to drop a ride vehicle from beyond 180 degrees?
No. I'm not saying dropping it from that. I'm saying once it actually swings out, it's not going to be fully inverted. Definitely not. It's not going to be to the same extent as the Giant Discoveries, but you might have that same swinging motion where you're like almost going up, and it's going to be facing
physics. If you drop something, if you drop a pendulum, it's only going to swing as high as it's dropped on the other side.
Yes.
That's physics, unless it's actually pushed.
I didn't say it's going to go higher. I think
that's what I'm saying.
Once
but you're not going to.
Its ascent might be at an angle where, I mean, I'm looking at the picture right now. It does look like a Giant Discovery, and if it continues to go upwards, it would.
How would it continue to go upwards beyond 180 degrees?
I didn't say it would. I just said I don't think it's to the same extent of Giant Discoveries.
That's my whole point.
But I don't think it's going to.
Giant Discoveries go.
But it's going to go to a point where it's very similar. It's going to be a similar ride, kind of like the pendulums, except it won't go to that great extent of going 180. But it'll be. I don't think it's going to be far from it. Because
that's why I think the Discoveries are going to be better. I mean, well, I'll ride it if they build one of these. I'll ride it, and I'll give it a fair shot. But I think like the Giant Discoveries, a key part of that ride is going beyond 180 degrees. And yeah, this is taller, but I don't know. I mean, but I still think it's going to be more fun to drop 300 feet from just being in a Sky Coaster harness.
I don't disagree that they're definitely changing the experience, and whether or not that's bad or good is yet to be seen. But I'm not saying screw Sky Coasters. I still want Sky Coasters to be built everywhere. I love Sky Coasters. I definitely want to do one of these when they open them up, and I'm excited to see it. So I'm not saying that I'm not abandoning the Sky Coaster. I'm not saying, screw you. Let's get all the Sky Screamers in here, and that Sky Coaster a thing of the past kind of. I totally love the Sky Coasters, and looking forward to more and more being built. But I am excited as well to check out the Sky Screamer. That's all I'm saying. But the one thing that this will improve upon the Sky Coaster for sure, without a doubt, is the capacity. The ridership is going to be much greater for this because you don't have to spend 10, 15 minutes getting people in a harness, getting them locked up, that whole process takes a long time. I mean, I was in line at Fun Spot Orlando for their Sky Coaster, and there was maybe 10 people in line, and it took almost 2 hours for us to get on the ride. I mean, it was past midnight we were getting on the ride, and that was really frustrating. That's the one thing that Sky Coasters aren't great at, and this is something that you get on, you put the harness down, and you go. And you don't. And again, there's 12 people I think are allowed to ride this. I think that's the amount, or something like that. 12 to 13, something like that, can ride this at a time. So that is the one thing that parks might be like, yeah, we got this over the Sky Coaster because of the capacity. That's a huge factor for parks.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I'm not crapping on the ride. I'm crapping on the comparisons to the Sky Coaster. Because I don't think this, that's kind of the whole marketing. This company is coming at this like, oh look, this is the Sky Coaster with more people and more capacities. It's not going to be anything like riding the Sky Coaster. I just don't see that being the case. I'm not saying this is going to be a horrible ride or anything like that. That's absolutely not my stance. I just think that the marketing is misleading into saying like, oh, this is just like the Sky Coaster.
Typically, if this was any other manufacturer or any other person claiming that, but I mean, this is the creator, and he's also said that this is the Sky. He said it's like, and this is an exact quote, it's like the Sky Coaster on steroids. Again, I don't necessarily think it'll be. I don't necessarily. I don't. It's going to be different for sure. I don't disagree with that, but the fact that the creator and the inventor of this attraction is claiming that, it holds some merit for me. So I want to ride it. I want to see. Again, I'm not abandoning the Sky Coaster. I'm not saying they're done. I don't want to see them anymore. Let's get the Sky Coasters in here, or the Sky Screamers in here. I do want to ride this though. I think it could be very fun.
You know what I predict? I
What?
predict this is going to go right with the roller coaster.
And if that's the case,
I don't
then
think we're ever going to see one built.
if that's the
That's
case,
just
then
that's my feeling.
I'll be a little hurt, but I'll go to Fun Spot Kissimmee, and I'll ride their 300-foot regular Sky Coaster, and I'll be fine.
I mean, let's think about that. So it's more capacity, but it's still not enough capacity that you can eliminate an upcharge.
I think it is.
I mean, if you're gonna winch the ride vehicle, I mean, that takes time. I mean, yes, you can load faster and things like that, but I still don't think you're gonna have the throughput.
I don't
Like,
think I don't think it'll be.
I think this is gonna end up in one of those. I think this is gonna end up in one of those scenarios that this would be really great for a smaller park, but a smaller park's not gonna be able to afford it. That's just. I feel like that's how this is gonna go, and that's gonna get stuck in that segment, and we're not going to see any get built, or we're going to see a big park build it and the lines just be ridiculous and they're going to have to turn it into an upcharge attraction anyway.
I think this has the potential of having the throughput. I mean, you have people sit down on the ride, you put the restraints down, you hoist them up, you drop them. I mean, I don't see it being that.
But you're looking, the ride cycles are probably going to be that of a coaster, probably even a little bit longer. And you're dealing like it's just a single train up almost. That's literally what you're.
Sure, I mean, but we see Premier Ride Skyrocket 2s be built at big parks, and they do all right. And those are one train ops.
I think this is gonna. I think the ride cycle on this will be longer than.
I don't. They definitely will be longer, but I don't think by much. But I don't know. We'll have to see. This is something that might not even come to be. So there's no sense in arguing over it.
I have a feeling we're not going to see it. I mean,
I don't necessarily think we will either. But when they do build one, I will wanting to be ride it. That's all. I would want to ride it. That's all.
Yeah. I'll totally. I'll ride it. I'll totally ride it with you.
Just so you can say "told you so" when we.
That's the only reason. No, I don't like. I'm not like. That's my whole point. I'm not saying this is going to be a crappy ride. I'm trying. I guess I am to an extent, but it's not my intent to judge this as the ride itself. What I'm judging it on is its marketing. That's what I think the problem is. That it just. I don't think this is anything like.
And again, for most cases, I would think this would be false marketing and false advertising, and just a hype, just like a hype build up for the ride. But the fact that this is coming from the creator just holds a little bit more value to me. I think that says something, that the creator's going out on a limb and saying, this is the Sky Coaster on steroids. I've built this. I've designed this.
It also works for the company that has said that we're going to see a polar coaster in next year for the
But that might not necessarily be the
15 years.
All right.
I'm just saying there's I don't know. there's different ways.
That's about it. That's about the summary of the story. I don't know. That's what both of me and Bob.
We have no idea.
No idea. All right. Well, we're gonna head on to the next half of the show where we do know what's going on, because we went to American Dream, and we're gonna be talking about that, talking about some of the rides and attractions we experienced, and also talking about which launch system is the better out of the two electromagnetic launch systems, LSMs or LIMs. That's all coming up in the next half of the show. All right. I gotta get something to eat. I'm about to die.
All right. Who's all left in the chat?
I'll be right back.
All right. Anybody left in the chat? Marco. Hey, you've actually hung in there. I'm impressed, Timmy. Oh, Cam, of course you're here, Cam. You're the only person we count on for sure. I'm tired. Oh, sweet. It's nice to have you. Cam won't be the only one here, red eye, like, come on, guys, finish, please, finish. Yeah. 640K of RAM should be enough for anybody. Name that quote. Who said that? Anybody know? Did Pam leave?
It's snack time with James. I know you guys are thrilled.
A thrill.
This is the kind of thing you don't get with Coaster Radio. You don't get to hear Mike and he be eating.
True.
We truly give you a behind-the-scenes live look at our show. I think Pam would have responded by now. As much as she doesn't respond a lot, she said bye.
She could be really lagged. No, I thought she was saying bye to Travis.
Oh, yeah. Say bye back, yeah. Say bye back, damn it. Yeah, he replied bad to himself. What? You see that? He said, I'm gonna go to bed. Say bye back. Bye. What? Pam's not here anymore, yeah. She's only here for a short time. Oh, I gotta see who the Steelers drafted. We're looking at like an offensive lineman, I think.
So apparently Gates never did say the 640K RAM should be enough, according to Computer World. It's interesting. Or at least he denies it.
Yeah, we did. I'm looking at it right now. Polo. Pam's here.
Do you realize my first computer
Was in the 80s.
It was, but I'm trying. I don't even know how to do this calculation.
Do what calculation? The sign of X.
I've maybe I'll ask DuckDuckGo. My first hard drive was 0.6 of a gigabyte. No,
Yeah, we.
even less than that. No, it was 64 megs. No, actually it was 32 megs. I had two 32 meg hard drives.
What did you guys trade to get the to get Devontae Smith? Yeah, Pam is really lagged. She's now saying I'm here.
Yeah, she's very lagged. So, wait, 32 megabytes. So my first hard drive was 0.03125 gigabytes. That's what, 300ths. That's 300ths of a gigabyte.
Get better Wi-Fi then, Pam. Get a better internet provider.
And the RAM in my first computer had 0.0004 gigabytes of RAM.
.004 gigabytes.
No, 0.0004. Pam has only slightly more, apparently.
So I get the Eagles traded picks with the Cowboys, but for what? Like, why would the Cowboys choose to go later in the draft? What did they get in return? See, they got. See, this is what I was asking for. The Cowboys were. The reasons the Cowboys traded their pick back to the 12th pick
I'll be right back.
They also got the 3rd round pick. They got the Eagles' 3rd round pick, so that's why they did that. I was asking what other incentive they had to do that. I know the NFL draft's insanely long. And my cousin is obsessed with watching the entire draft, like even the 3rd through 7, or even like tomorrow, Friday's rounds and Saturday's rounds. He'll watch all of that, like like to see every team too, not just to watch. He likes the Dolphins, but it's not just to watch the Dolphins. He likes to watch like the entire thing. I like to just get updates about like important things. I don't.
All right, I'm back. So, all that agonizing over whether I should buy these air conditioners or not, I've never been more happy with the purchase. Just saying. The temperature in my room has remained exactly the same temperature this entire night.
That's insane.
I mean, like, no, none of this, like, you know, up a little bit. Like,
I know.
it's like, and you just just listening to it, you can hear the compressor slowly increase and slowly decrease its speed. It's just like it is amazing.
It's a miracle.
I love free spins. I love them, Mike. I love them. I also love my air conditioners, but I also love free spins.
I'm gonna go real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
When we can start the second half, and we can talk about how Bob loves free spins.
Well, we're gonna talk about it anyway. I'm telling you, Mike, I've never in my life laughed so much on a roller coaster. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Time to break out my Sour Patch Kids that I bought at Nickelodeon Universe, or well, American Dream. Cam, we need to get you up to Great Adventure. I know you're not really a fan of them, are you, Mike? I don't know, man. I'll tell you the thing about the free spins that, like, when I watched it, like when I've seen them, I I looked at it and, like, the thing, I love zippers. And the thing about the zipper is when it throws you face down towards the ground. That's my favorite moment on a zipper. And watching the free spins, I was like, how does it even get close to that? It did. It was like I don't know why, it just, like, you didn't have to be so close to the ground, but it just, like, felt as that free fall thing. Oh my god, it was just so enjoyable. It was so much fun. And that pickle cotton candy, you haven't eaten any more of it? You haven't even tried it again? Oh, are you kidding me? Look at this crap.
What did you get that?
It's a tin that they literally just put a bag of, like, an actual retail bag
I
of
think
sour.
I've gotten ones like Skittles like that. Yeah.
It's literally like the same exact thing they sell.
What were you hoping they would just have them like inside of the tin?
I thought there'd be more.
Did you buy those or something for real?
Yeah,
Just for yourself?
American Dream. Yeah.
Oh, you bought them at American Dream. Okay. See, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the show. Is when you get like this.
So disappointed.
When you're confused and perplexed and annoyed and
It should have been like a whole big plastic bag that filled this entire thing. Nope. It's just that. So disappointing. Mike's gonna get us in trouble now. Nitro was good. I really enjoyed Nitro.
Yeah, Nitro was
mediocre.
your first piece of wall art. This is excellent. Not even Costa really, just some random guy.
I want to get Pam on the cyber spin. You lie. We don't lie.
We just exaggerate the truth.
That's right. I'm enjoying my incognito bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Are you gonna eat those while we record?
Perhaps.
I just specifically did not eat on audio. Now you completely ruin it. Ruin my efforts. You soiled it. You look pretty
Except
comical.
we heard you chewing.
I just heard you chewing. Now you're not chewing, but I did.
Only for a couple. In the Navy.
We got Bob on it now. Yes. Yay. In the Navy. I can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. Don't wanna put your mind at ease in the Navy.
I'm saying that to Pam now. Did you ever know that you're Mike's hero?
I need a hero. I'm looking out for a hero till the end of the night. And it's gotta be Pam, and it's gotta be now, and it's gotta be. Pam almost fought a 12-year-old girl, too. That's a true story, though.
I wish I could have seen that.
I wish that was a lie. She's about to square up.
The problem is that I could totally see it happening too.
I really don't know who would win that fight either. You know how like dad strength? Like you're like, oh, my dad's overweight. He doesn't, he's old, but he can still beat the crap out of me somehow. I feel like Pam has that inside of her. She'd easily be seen as like someone who's like, nobody would even question her ability to fight somebody. They'd just be like, oh, I could easily take her. And then she just demolishes them.
Oh, look, Pam's getting the sensors going now. We made her mad.
Oh, yeah.
The girl is going down. Pam's one of those people when something goes wrong, you just want to like walk away and pretend like you don't know her. Like somebody cut in line, then the second person cut in line. By the time the third person cut in line, I'm going to another ride.
Her like face is getting all red and she's like steam's coming out of her ears. She's about to storm like the bull.
The stories are true. Indeed.
The prophets were right.
It's scary, man. The scary thing, my sister's exactly the same way too. There was one time we were going to Kings Island. We had 2 cars. I was with my sister. We had our I don't know if it was our nephew or nephew, I think. So it was my sister, not my nephew's mother, but my other sister. And we were coming into the parking lot, like right before Great Wolf Lodge. And somebody I mean, this guy was a complete a-hole, hands down. But this guy cut my sister off, like close to accident cut off, right? My sister honks her horn. He flips her off. My sister floors it. Catches up to this guy. She's screaming out just screaming out her window. The guy's car ends up on my side. She winds down my window and yells across. And I'm like slouching down, like I'm not here. I'm like, oh my God, like we're gonna get shot. We're totally getting shot right now. I like my
Was he
life
yelling back?
Eyes. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't know. I tried to block. I was trying to hide so much that I don't really know what was going on in the other car. But oh my God, I was frightened. I was like legit frightened. I know. What is it with you teachers, man? Something.
They love being unusually cruel. I'm just kidding.
I mean, this guy totally he was a jerk, like absolutely a jerk, and I mean, he pissed me off too. I would have been mad, but oh my God.
Daniel would have been throwing hands with him. Daniel has road rage, guys. I didn't. This is where it'll come out, I guess.
Oh yeah.
His thing is more actually though, yelling at people who are in the left lane and not going fast enough for him.
Oh, that gets on my nerves too.
No, but I agree. I speed. I'm gonna say that. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I speed very much so.
Actually, 2 nights ago, I got pulled over.
Really?
Thankfully,
If I got pulled over, I would get charged with a felony. Let's just say that's how fast I am typically. But back to Daniel. He speeds and he's going like 20 or 30 over, and that's where I typically I get over in the other lane and just pass the person, but he doesn't get over. He's one of those people that like you have to be in the left lane to pass somebody. You can't be in another lane and pass somebody. Like you have to be in the left lane. So he's like mad at the person in the left lane. It's not the law in Virginia actually. It's not the only passing lane. But because me and Timmy had this discussion, we actually ended up looking it up. And it's not. But
no, Pam, I got a warning.
But
I was doing 73 and a 65.
Oh, boo-hoo. That's not bad at all. 7 over? 8 over?
I didn't know. I didn't actually know. I usually am really good. Like I stay within the 5 over.
Were you in the highway? Were you on the highway?
No, I was on a back dirt road.
And the speed limit was 65?
What do you think I was with a speed limit 65? That was a dumb question. You're going to get a dumb answer. Am I not right?
In retrospect.
I don't even know. It was weird. He didn't even give me any paperwork or anything. He was like, he pulled me over and he's like, I pulled you over because you were speeding. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but Daniel what happens is he's just sitting there in the left lane and he won't pass the person. And he's just, what do you do? Go faster. What the? Come on, man. I mean, he's like, I'm like, my headphones are coming off. I'm trying to, I'm imitating him so well. But yeah, he's ferocious and it's like, oh, it's like, just pass him. Like there'll be wide open road on the right side of him. Just go around him.
I don't know. I'm kind of that and I'm gonna say it doesn't matter what the speeds are. If the speed is irrelevant. If the traffic on the right is going faster than you need to be over on the right.
Bob, I cannot agree more. But I still don't ride the guy's back until he gets over. I just go around him.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. That upsets me. That upsets me really bad. It really does. Like you need to get out of the left lane. If you're not driving faster and you're
You're
not
preaching to the choir here, man. I mean, Timmy, tell him you're preaching to the choir, but go around him. Like, it's so easy. Just go around.
no,
I got to make a
no.
point.
I think I'm kind of with Daniel on that one.
What
No,
the
I don't
hell?
know. Sometimes I will. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
Riding somebody's tail is being a bigger jerk than the person riding the left lane going slow.
He started it.
Well, you should finish it and just go around him. I agree. Stay out of the left lane if you're not going the speed limit. I mean, I go a lot over, so I mean, I'm mad at like everybody. Even if you're going like 20 over, I'm still going like, get out, move. But still,
Some
if
states you're legally like you're supposed to like flash your lights at somebody doing that. I forget what states that is, but like
yeah, but I'm sure that the required distance would still be 3 seconds. I'm sure.
I'm sure it probably is.
I don't think it's like, hey, flash your lights and ride their ass until they get over.
I mean, why not?
Just make it more fun.
No, I would like. I'm kind of curious. Like, who? I don't know who pulled me over. I don't know if it was a sheriff's deputy or West Virginia State Police or like, I don't know. I don't know why that just hit me. Like, they didn't give me any kind of paperwork or anything. They just were like, okay, everything checks out. We're just gonna let you go with a warning. I was like, okay, thank you. Everything should check out. I thought it might be Virginia. I wasn't sure though.
So here it is. I go well over 77.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I agree with that, Mike. It's like I don't like to speed, but there's those roads that like you're just dumb if you don't speed. And 95 is one of them in most areas, and the Beltway is another.
I'm just saying, when I go by King's Dominion, I'm trying to imitate Intimidate 305. Let's just say,
Yeah.
that's my speed typically. But yeah, the U.S. law is that, or common practice in most law in the United States is that the left lane is reserved for passing and fast-moving traffic. So I mean, people need to follow that. I agree, but
Yeah, but Pam said Virginia law says to flash your lights and honk your horn if somebody's in the left lane.
sure, I'm not disagreeing with that. Now I wouldn't do that. I would just go around them because that's a lot easier than causing a whole scene. And
Yeah, that's something that drives me nuts. When a trucker is going 0.01 miles per hour faster than another truck and has to pass, just deal with it. You're not. I don't have time to sit around for 10 minutes while you try to pass this truck going up a hill.
I agree with that.
The airtime Mike stare.
It's worse than when he gets off a free spin. I hate 81. This is why I hate 81 exactly. It's the trucks. I wasn't going to say it, but Pam brought it up.
I don't think 81 is really much different than any other 2-lane interstate. It's just
81
it's
has
a
the
2-lane
most truck traffic. I mean, it's like a common it has so much trucks on it. It's crazy. It's like thousands of trucks. There's more trucks on that highway than there are cars. I
mean,
never.
been on 70 or 80.
Yes, I have. They're not nearly as bad, I don't think. No, I mean not to say there aren't trucks on them, but 81, like 99% of the vehicles on that highway are trucks. Like I swear to God, there's every time I get on that highway,
All right,
it's like bam.
I'm gonna aim my webcam out the back, and we'll start counting.
All right. Next time we go to Dollywood, because that's 81. You take 81 down.
I live by 81.
I know, but I'm saying next time I go to Dollywood, I can like also count as well.
Although I don't think I can hear traffic from 81. I can't really see it. Not really.
Understood.
It's only because the lights from the what used to be a mall.
I'm glad we're all coming to a consensus that 81 sucks, except for Bob.
I didn't say 81 didn't suck.
Nope. All right, good. Then we're all coming to a consensus, all of us then. 81 sucks. End of story.
No,
Sign
I
the
mean,
pa-
yes, 81 sucks. I just don't think it's the worst interstate.
I think it's the worst in our area, I would say. I don't know why you don't like 64. I don't like 64, but you don't go to the point where it sucks. Like unless you're going to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, you don't go to like when it converges into 2 lanes. That's when it sucks, and you're trying to go down to the beach. That sucks massive balls. But
Yeah.
but the rest of it, like near where I live, and where it's a 3-lane, it's perfectly fine. And up to DC is perfectly fine. In Northern Virginia, I mean, it doesn't actually go. It goes west.
64
Never
to
mind. Nah,
DC?
shut up. I was thinking 95 for a second. Because at my house, 95 and 64 converge into one, and then up at Richmond they'll separate. So I was thinking they were the same.
I mean, 64 through Richmond's fine.
and
But go
out west.
either direction out of Richmond, and it drives me nuts. If you go west 64, those hills just drive me nuts. It's
don't
the
mind.
only place that like my car, the battery like overheats and just doesn't want to work. Like it's just like it gives up. They're just like horribly spaced. And then you have the same issue with trucks. But then the other way is just like it's not trucks, but it's cars. There's so many cars that feel like they have to drive in the left lane constantly. That 64 from Richmond like to the beaches. It's like cars just, oh no, I have to drive in the left lane. I'm only going 30 miles an hour, but I have to be in the left lane because that's just the way 64 has to be. I hate 64. It's ugh.
Well, in
And yet,
Richmond,
when I go to the beach, it really annoys me even more. It
when
gets
do you ever
even
go to the
worse.
beach? When have you ever gone to Virginia Beach? I thought you said you don't go down there.
You go the same way to get to Outer Banks.
I don't. I don't ever do that. I don't go to the Outer Banks, but when I went, I didn't take that way. I went around 64. See, for me, like, watch. I'll do it right now, probably, and it'll say. Watch. It's gonna say it.
Yeah, it's like 64 kills hybrids. It's insane. It's like the perfect, like the hills are just spaced. It's like how can we design this road so that in the future when they create the hybrid car, it'll just wreak havoc on them. And it does it so well. And that's for some reason my dad likes to go that way, even though it's like an hour out of the way. He just loves like going from the Outer Banks home. He like goes 64 to 81, which is just stupid, I think. But like we're driving, like my whole family's like, "Oh, we need to go faster." I'm like, I can't. I literally can't. My car, like I can't. All I hear in the back is just like it sounds like I have a turbo, except it's just the fans trying to cool off my battery. Literally,
so this is a civic issue then. All right. I mean, this is a hybrid issue then. All right.
But I just hate it. I just hate it all.
I have no issues with 64, other than going down to the beach when it can. I don't know who, and I still don't comprehend why one of the most busy tourist destinations in the state has a 2-lane highway leading to it. I just can't.
You have noticed that they're expanding it, right?
They are, but why in the first place is there 2 lanes? I mean, it's 3 lanes in Richmond.
Well, popular at first. I mean,
Virginia
it's not
Beach has
like you
always
snap
been a tourist
Ton.
destination.
Yeah, but there wasn't that much traffic at a single time. I mean, traffic's getting worse.
Virginia Beach traffic has always been pretty bad. I mean, I've been going down there since I was like 5, and I know that. And even before that, I mean, my parents have told me it's been bad, and they've been going down there to see my family for a long time.
Just because it's bad doesn't mean it can't get worse. I mean, it's always.
I agree, but why in the first place was the initial? If it was bad in the first place, it should have been this. This should have been an expansion that
Why don't we
occurred a long
just
time
build
ago.
all roads 5-lane highways, James?
What the hell are you talking about? A huge tourist destination should be built. The highway to it should not converge into 2 lanes. It doesn't make any sense. Right when you leave Richmond, all of a sudden it's just like 2. Like, I don't know why they didn't just keep building 3 to like nobody's
right. Exactly, Timmy. Like you could there's so many places you could say the same thing, and then by the time you get to it, it's like, where's all the money coming from to do this?
He's being sarcastic. Chesapeake's not a tourist destination. He loves to rag on Chesapeake because there's nothing to do there, he always says.
Podcast?
I know. It's 12 a.m. and I literally said, let's please get this done at 10, and it's 12, so.
It's all your fault. You had to eat.
I don't even know what the show is anymore. Let's just quickly try to hit through American Dream, and then please, for the love of God, quickly hit through the LSM versus LIM thing. I mean, we could talk about it, but obviously, let's just not. I don't have time to spend like 14 hours.
God.
What?
For the love of God.
For the love of God. Which I do not possess. Let's get this.
All right. What? Pam's gonna leave? Look, Pam's like, oh, wait, they're starting the show. Gotta leave. They're gonna talk about stuff, and then I'm gonna later say, I didn't know about that, and we're gonna say, we said it on the show, Pam. And then Pam will complain about something like, oh, well, you guys never want to do your show because I always talk.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
4, 5, 6.
-1, -2, -3, -4.
Ready? 3, 2.
American Dream was the destination that we traveled to last week when we left you off, talking about Great Adventure. This was the large mall outside of New York City, in I believe it's East Rutherford, New York, on the Meadowlands. No, it's the second largest mall in America, and it houses Nickelodeon Universe, which was the reason. The purpose of our trip there. We did not just go to the mall. But the mall was pretty epic.
The mall is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Actually. So this isn't your run-of-the-mill, typical shopping mall.
I still love, after all of you guys left, I stuck around for, I think I was there for like an hour and a half, just kind of exploring the mall.
I would have loved to do that.
It was actually fun just exploring that mall, but like one of the most amazing things was watching Ski Patrol walk through the mall at shift change.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I saw you posted to Twitter about that.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. You just Ski Patrol, skis and all.
No other mall has that. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure there are some, maybe, but it's very, very, very uncommon. Yeah. So it's also uncommon to have an entire amusement park in the park, and again, that's what we did while we were there. Nickelodeon Universe houses 5 roller coasters, all of which I enjoyed. Bob enjoyed them, but and there's a mixed attitude towards some of them, so we're gonna have to divulge into those. I guess we could first start off with the highlight. We might as well of the park, the big name attraction, the Takavisha Clone TMT Shellraiser. This is the Gerstlauer launched coaster. It also has that.
Tower coaster.
Yeah, it is.
Looks out over the New York skyline.
Oh man, yeah, really, really awesome view from the top of that lift hill. It's excellent. And to be quite frank, we're going to be talking about LSMs later, but the launch on that thing was pretty incredible, I thought.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, the coaster it's actually a spectacular coaster. I just question why they use square wheels instead of round ones. I think it'd be better if you had round wheels on it. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah. And again, this might be the time warp thing going on here again, because I rode a different ride than you. Because the ride I rode was pretty dang smooth. I mean, it wasn't glossy, and no coaster really ever is, but it was near pretty smooth to me. Like I'm not gonna say it was the smoothest coaster I've ever ridden. It's not Griffin at Busch Gardens Williamsburg or anything, but I did not have much issues with that ride at all. So must be the time warp.
So there's there's very few coasters for me that, I mean, anybody that knows me personally, I have certain medical conditions that aren't really a big hindrance to riding roller coasters, but every now and then there's that, there's a couple things. Up until now, it's been the worst experience is like Gemini. I love Gemini a lot, but I can't ride it because of that helix. That's like the extent of what has been my frustration. Shellraiser is the first time that I enjoyed a roller coaster so much. So much, but I couldn't keep riding it, and I really wanted to, and it killed me. It killed me not to be able to ride that coaster more because I love it. I absolutely love that coaster. It's designed really well. I love all the elements. I love what it does. Its layout, the launch, the tower, the drop, just everything about that ride I love. I just physically can't ride it. That doesn't mean that I'm likely going back there in June with my family, and I will probably ride it again, and I probably will love it and regret it both at the same time. But it's just one of those things. Like I can't, but do not let that deter you. It's an amazing ride, and I can't say it's spectacular. You have to go and experience it. You have to.
Yeah, it's a really, really awesome ride. I don't know. Going into it, I didn't necessarily know what to expect. I'd heard some mixed things about it, and it delivered on every account that I could have hoped for. I mean, great launch, like I said. I love the inversions. All the inversions are a lot of fun. The view, I love being held up there, looking out at the view of the skyline. That was one of my favorite parts, to be honest. I mean, the whole ride's great, but that is like, it's nothing like anything I've ever experienced on a roller coaster before. It's just really cool to look out and see the largest city in the country right before you. It's really cool, and it definitely does have a shaking to it. I'm not gonna lie, a vibration. It definitely does have that, but it's not, to me at least, as a parent and as obvious as other rides that I've been on. I feel like there's other rides that I've totally been on that I've had worse, and really it's not.
I think sometimes what happens is you have, like, when you have a vibration, there's always a resonance to a vibration, and I think that it's just one of those things where the resonance is just that right frequency that just kills me. I don't know. I mean, certainly, like, I ride coasters with vibrations and I love them. I don't know. We have Airtime Mike in our live chat, and he said it definitely needs lap bars, and I think that's actually spot on. If that coaster had lap bars, I think that could make a world of difference.
Again, I wouldn't be opposed to that necessarily. I think, if Gerstlauer designed some lap bars, they were comfortable, they were good, I wouldn't mind that. I don't think it would improve the ride experience all that much for me, but if it improved it for you and you got to love it and enjoy it more, and if there is a certain amount of people out there, which I believe there are, that don't like this ride because of that, vibration, because of that shaking of the train. If it helps and it keeps the ride to its same nature that it is now, and more the
Are
merrier.
you
The
telling
more
me you'd
people that like it.
prefer over-the-shoulder restraints than a lap bar?
I'm saying I don't care. I'm saying that I don't think it really impacts the ride for this in this
No,
same
if you
exact
had a
scenario.
choice, which would you prefer?
I would prefer uh, lap bars in this. I mean, pretty much on any ride. But right now, I'm saying that if they had say, hey, we need to replace this with. Do we need to replace this with lap bars? I wouldn't be like, yes, you
Okay,
have
but
to. You have to replace it with lap bars.
I'm just asking you. I mean, most not everybody, but most people would prefer lap bars that like really enjoy coasters. I don't know. I don't think that's
I
like it's
prefer
not
them,
going
but
to hurt.
I'm not saying I don't prefer them. This isn't a matter of preference right now. I'm just saying right now, does the ride need them? If they ask me, would I advocate or would I like be very persistent about them needing to replace it? No, not necessarily. But I mean, I'd say sure, yeah, Adam, that'd be fine. And again, if it helps you guys enjoy the ride, I'm all for it. I want you guys to enjoy it too and get enjoyment out of it. So, but again, right now, I don't necessarily think that's necessary for that ride. That's just my thoughts. But let's move on to another ride that we both enjoyed. Well, you enjoyed TMT Shellraiser, but a ride that you could re-ride. You rode it a couple times in a row with me. Sandy's Blast and Bronco.
Yes.
That's
It
the.
also has a rattle.
Oh yes, I guess it just isn't that right. That right amount
But
though to tip
but
it for you.
it's a different resonance. It's a different frequency. And it
Yeah.
has lap bars.
Yeah, it does. This is an Intamin. This is an Intamin LSM launch coaster. Um, it's a lot of fun. The launch again. This park did something great with LSMs because I mean most of the time LSMs are pretty good. I mean there are some stellar examples of LSMs, but typically LSMs aren't the greatest. I mean they're just kind of there. There are a few exceptions. Then again, when we talk about LSMs in a little bit, we'll get into that. But I mean, man, this thing had a very powerful launch for an LSM. It was really really powerful.
Yeah, and especially the backwards launch. That was the thing about Sandy's Blast Bronco that just wow. For like I was not expecting to be launched that fast backwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I was really disappointed with this park? It wasn't the rides. It wasn't. I mean, I wasn't actually thrilled with the food options either. There was like one food stand, but what really disappointed me was honestly the theming. Like I didn't feel like maybe you feel completely different, but there was theming, but it wasn't like to the level that I was expecting. I guess, and
Are you?
yeah.
I know. I think the theming was dead on. I thought it was
No, think
very
about it.
well
Sandy's
themed.
Blast and Bronco. There's one sign
Well,
for the
okay.
ride, and then there's nothing else. Like
Well,
it's a
but also
SpongeBob themed
remember
ride.
okay. Also remember the zero car, or well, not the zero car, but the front of the train was missing
I
when we
don't
rode
think the
it.
front of the train was anything though. I don't
I
think they
don't
had
know.
any.
I don't know what it was.
They don't.
But
They didn't have
saying that
anything on that. It was just like a
having
blue front.
having one ride that's not themed doesn't mean the park missed theming.
TMT Shellraiser, another ride that I mean, where's the theming? To me, when you have an IP like this, it's like Universal or Disney, you got to capitalize on it. I didn't think they did. I don't think they did a bad job. Holy crap! I mean, it looks. They have statues. They have things up. I'm not saying that, but just not to the level I was expecting. I was expecting Universal or Disney or something that because they have that ability. I mean, Nickelodeon's a huge network. I would think they would capitalize on that, and I don't think they did.
I mean, just because the roller coaster isn't I mean, the whole park is themed. It's I I I don't know. I
I
don't
need to revisit with you
understand.
because a lot of the theming was like random. Like they had slime stuff up on the
No.
walls. They had random graphic
Well,
art
that
from the
was
shows.
Nickelodeon.
I know, but that to me, I don't think we're not seeing theming on the same level here. I'm talking about storyline, cohesive, like making sense. Like, oh, we're in there's SpongeBob. We're in the SpongeBob area, not just like random. Because look, I'm looking at a picture right now. It's just like randomness everywhere. It doesn't really fit anything like
I
Universal
mean,
when
look at you had Dora's Sky, whatever it was. Like that was themed really well and fit the whole, like Dora's exploring and like flying in her balloon. Like, I mean, it wasn't
sure.
really a balloon. Like that was themed really well. I forget the character. It wasn't Jimmy Neutron because that's Cartoon
Timmy
Network,
Turner.
isn't it? Yeah, whatever.
Are you talking about Timmy Turner and the Fairly Odd Parents?
No. Across from that. The ride that you rolled, you did the
I didn't
barrel
ride
roll.
that, so I don't remember what that was themed to.
I don't know. The Atom Smasher. I don't know. Whatever it was, that was themed really well because it fit in like it was like a science experiment. Which let me tell you, I was kind of frightened to ride that ride because of I rode Looper. I think it was Looper at Knoebels, and oh my god, that ride was so much fun. Jimmy Neutron, I think that's it. Yeah, that was that was themed extremely well. It was just in depth. There was a whole like science experiment thing. Like, you know, it was just fit really well. The challenge course was themed really well. Even it wasn't open, but that was themed really well. You had
I think it might just be in part due to the fact that I was just at Universal, and that's a whole other level of theming. Like, yes, you have statues and you have, some, decor on the walls and on the supports of the buildings, but to me, it's just not even comparable to like something like Universal. It's just still, to me, there's like a whole other level of theming that's done at Universal.
well, yeah.
And that's
I mean,
and that's
that's
probably
kind of
why.
like
But I was just expecting a little bit more. That's all I can say. And I mean, again, it could be because my
yeah. Ham's pointing out there were Rugrats. Oh my god, that carousel! I love that. I actually should have rode that carousel just because that thing looks so cool. Like, I've never seen a carousel theme so well. That was just and it was Rugrats. I mean, like that just it was awesome. That probably is the best themed ride there, I think. Just and maybe that's just because it was Rugrats. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, James. I mean, sure, there may not have been full storyline on some of the coasters, but I don't know. I think the
neither on any of
theming
the
was
rides.
spot
Like,
on
think
in
about
Nowhere.
it. There was like a train ride there, a powered train ride that's supposed to be like this Bikini Bottom adventure, right? It's a great premise. I love it.
The
But
train? The like monorail thing?
yeah, that was Bikini Bottom.
That was the Dora Sky
No,
adventure.
no,
Yes,
that
it
was
was.
it was the Bikini Bottom. I literally took a picture of the sign for it. I have a picture of it on my phone.
No, the Nebulas was the Bikini Bottom Transport Authority.
This thing, I have a picture of it. And they had like a map of Bikini Bottom, and maybe I'm what? Maybe
I
I'm
can't
wrong.
really tell from that. No, because the stairways up to that train literally was Dora. You were climbing through Dora's at like
Dora
like
the
it
Explorer.
was Dora. Like you
Okay, okay,
if
maybe
we
I'm.
would have got on that, there is no way to deny that it was Dora. Like huge Dora balloon floating in the sky and like that was absolutely
All right,
Dora.
what was the SpongeBob adventure thing then?
The Bikini Bottom or wait, what
Adventure, yeah, the Bikini Bottom. Yeah, like you're
Transit
supposed.
Authority.
Yeah.
That was the Nebulas, the ride we rode that went upside down. Like it spun around. It was almost like the swing around type thing, but it went the whole way. It inverted the whole way. I don't know if you rode it or not.
I don't think I did because I don't recognize that
I don't know
description.
how you can't. Um.
I thought that was the Avatar ride. The spinning.
Oh wait, maybe you're right.
I don't remember
Not
what the Bikini
Avatar.
Bottom.
Avatar's not Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Avatar was literally there for sure. That's 100%. There was a statue of him on some sort of creature. I haven't watched Avatar, but that's 100% an IP that they have. Now I'm looking.
Oh, they did pick up an Avatar show. I was not aware of that. Yes, I think you're right. I think that was actually. Um.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, I think it's one of the. It's one of those bus. It's one of those like. They have them at.
Oh yes, it was like the the pirate ship, but not the pirate ship. Like the little tiny cosmic chaos thing.
Yeah, it like spins around and it elevates. I think
Yeah,
they're
it
called
was
like
like a
crazy
little,
buses. A lot of the fairs have them. They're like called
yeah,
crazy
something like
buses or
that.
something
That's
like
what it
that.
was. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it was.
yeah.
That's
All right.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
why
train was
we
La,
brought that
La
up, but yeah,
Aventura de Azul.
I don't know. It was just to me,
Wait, I'm in the wrong Nickelodeon universe.
it was a beautiful park. It did have good theming. I'm not lying. I mean, I'm not going to
Find the
say
right
that. I'm not going to say there wasn't theming. But again, I guess yeah, coming from Universal, Mike said it in the chat. There's nothing like Universal theming. It just to me felt like they just threw up a bunch of Nickelodeon stuff everywhere. It didn't really feel
No, I mean
cohesive.
it was immersive Nickelodeon. Absolutely,
I
just
didn't think it was
immersive.
immersive. I would not describe that
It
as immersive.
absolutely was.
No, it's not the
I
same.
mean,
Until you go, until you revisit Universal, I mean,
that's not to say that it's not.
no, but I'm saying like that's to me cohesive theming because this is just throwing up IPs
No,
everywhere. Like this would be like if
cohesive
you
and
walked into
immersive
Universal
are
and there
two
was a Harry
different
Potter
things.
ride next to the Spider-Man ride, next to this ride, next to that ride, all thrown up. Like that's how it feels to me. Like if that's what if that is what Universal done, I would not nearly think nearly.
Immersive is not the same as cohesive. Immersive is like you're
means you
surrounded
feel,
by
yeah.
Nickelodeon. You are in
You feel.
Nickelodeon.
What is Nickelodeon? Is it?
It's all of those shows. I mean, that's Nickelodeon.
No, I think to me
Is it
to be
cohesive
immersive, you
in
need to
Little
feel.
Land?
No, you need to be
Like-
to be immersive. You need to be in Bikini Bottom at that specific time, not just riding a ride that's themed to Bikini Bottom, but be in
that's
Bikini.
a theme. That's a themed area.
That is immersive to me. That's what being immersive. I guess can be subjective
No,
because I don't
no.
find it immersive to just be walking around a bunch of random rides themed to different. Like, oh, here's
You're
Blue's
in
Clues, and then right next to Blue's
Nickelodeon.
Clues
It's
is
not-
Avatar.
If this was SpongeBob's universe, I agree with you. But
they could
this was
make like a
Nickelodeon
certain
universe.
section of this park. They could have themed it to SpongeBob, and then a certain section, and that to me would be more immersive
Right,
because I
and
would actually
that's
be.
where you're talking about like cohesive, where like you have little areas that
It's
are different.
cohesive and it's
themes.
immersive. Immersive means that I feel like
Sure, it's immersive, but that doesn't mean that this also isn't immersive.
it's not to the same level of immersion that I. It's a subjective. This is subjective. I don't feel immersed when I'm in the park. Do you want me to like lie and be like I'm not immersed? I did not feel like I was.
How do you not feel immersed by Nickelodeon? It is you're surrounded by Nickelodeon. That is you're immersed in Nickelodeon. Everywhere you look is Nickelodeon.
Oh my gosh.
That is immersive. It's not the same as what you're thinking of. I agree. It's not universal, and I'm not pretending that it's universal. I'm saying it's immersive. It's not like
Immersive to me just means that you truly feel like you're in.
Nickelodeon.
Whatever it
Yes,
is.
you feel like
I
you're
don't
in
know what Nickelodeon is, Bob. It's like saying I feel like I'm in Universal. That's the same exact thing as saying that. That doesn't make any sense. Like I don't feel like I'm in Universal when I'm at Universal. I don't feel like I'm at Disney, or I don't feel like I'm at like I feel like I'm in England when I'm at Busch Gardens. Like that doesn't.
How do you not feel like you're in Disney when you're in Disney?
What does being in Disney mean? Being in the what? Being in the.
Disney.
I feel like I'm at the park. I mean, I am physically at the park. I feel like I'm physically at Nickelodeon Universe. If that's what you're trying to say, immersing me in.
Oh my god.
I'm. Oh man, you're killing me. I did not want to spend
killing
this much
me.
time on this. Here we go yet again.
It's immersive. It's immersive Nickelodeon. I don't know what more I can say to you. It's immersive. You feel like you're in Nickelodeon. Like everywhere you turn is Nickelodeon. That is immersion in Nickelodeon.
Okay. All right. You win. I give up. I'm just not gonna. I don't care enough. I don't think it's at all the same. But all right.
You're you're trying to make it sound like I'm saying it's just like Universal. I'm not saying that at all.
I never said that. I'm only using that comparison to say that is where I feel immersed. To be immersed in the IP, I need to be in I need to feel like I'm at that specific place. Nickelodeon is not a place. It's an idea. It's a network. It's not a physical. It's not the Bikini Bottom or wherever Avatar. I don't know what Avatar's location is. Whatever. That is truly being immersed to me. Being in the show, not just being in the network. I'm not just in Nickelodeon. I'm not just in Universal. I'm not just in Disney. When I'm at Disney, I'm in whatever land. They have like 30 different lands at Disney, all the Disney parks, and they do that on purpose. It's not just. I mean, they don't just throw rides in the middle of nowhere. Like, oh, it's just like when you go to Six Flags and all of a sudden there's a DC. I mean, DC ride and not in the DC land. That annoys people because it's not cohesive. It's not immersive. You're not in the DC land.
And I'm not saying they put a DreamWorks ride in Nickelodeon Universe.
But
because that's in the DreamWorks water park. That's where all the DreamWorks stuff is, and I'm sure the water park is immersive DreamWorks.
I'm not saying it's not immersive. I'm saying it's not the level of immersive.
Next week you'll have a different co-host. James is going to kill me.
See, I never made the statement that it's not immersive. I'm saying it's not at all to the level of places that I think it could be, and what I was expecting.
You literally did say it wasn't immersive, and I never tried to say it was universal level immersion or anything like that. But you're immersed in Nickelodeon.
I don't know what that means, so I can't. I can't comprehend what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say. I don't think it makes sense. I mean, I'm in the network. I'm in the station. Yes. I love Nickelodeon too, and so to me it was kind of a letdown. I did not feel immersed in any particular show or anything. None of the rides really made me feel like I wasn't that impressed with it. I just wasn't. I'm sorry. I disappointed you, Bob. I think there was. I mean, certain rides were themed well. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying it's like a vacant wasteland of like they just did no theming.
The
Obviously,
whole place was themed.
Yes, sure, I agree with that. But I don't think that again throwing random IPs around. Yes, it's all Nickelodeon properties, but they're different shows all around. Throwing those all into one big park doesn't necessarily immerse me. So and that's the end of the story.
Mike just brought something up, so I'm going to change the subject because I have to get to this.
Oh God. Why, Mike?
All right. So on Reddit, there was a post this week about all the things you could do for the same price of a day at American Dream or at Nickelodeon Universe. All right. I will be the first to say that before I went to American Dream and to Nickelodeon Universe, I was on board with all of this. Holy crap, that's a lot of money and that's outrageous. My view has drastically changed. I'm not by any means saying that, oh, it's a cheap day at the park, because it's not. But I think people are looking at this all the wrong way. Because, first of all, we have enthusiasts that are constantly complaining, like, oh, well, I pay all this money and then I have to go wait in line and I have to ride. All right. I was at Six Flags the day before from 11:30, something like that. I think I got in line between 11 and 11:30 to get in the park till actually we got in line for the last ride like 5 minutes before closing. I rode a total of 5 rides for that whole entire time. At Nickelodeon Universe, in the 4 hours that we were there, I rode as much as I wanted. I could have rode more. I totally got my fill. If you break it down to a price per ride, it's not nearly as bad as like a lot of bigger theme parks that you pay $60 or $70 a day to get into, because your price per ride, you get on less rides. Secondly, well,
that depends on how busy the park is. Sometimes you go to regional parks and they're completely vacated and you can ride.
Okay, sometimes. I'm talking on a normal basis, and enthusiasts tolerate this.
I would say this is on a normal basis. It's more right. It's more normal for there to be no lines than what we saw at Great Adventure. That's
yes, but not to the point of what Nickelodeon Universe was. We pretty much walked on everything except for Sandy's Blast and Bronco.
We waited for TMZ. You didn't ride it, but that's the reason. But TMZ shutters.
We waited what, 1 or 2 cycles?
No, more than that for a little. It was like For a while, there was like
For
a,
the
there was
mo-
like a,
for
there was like a
most of the
15,
day,
20-minute line for a
for
little bit.
most of the day, we walked right on every ride with maybe 1 or 2 cycles in front of us.
Okay.
Secondly, and most importantly, what you pay is what you
Exactly.
pay. The park does not nickel and dime you at all. You get free use of lockers. They will keep your bag. And yes, Timmy did say Slime Streak did have a line. Yes, that one did. They should have bought a second train on that. I will admit that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying exactly to earlier.
Slime Streak does need a second train. But anyway, that aside, there's no you don't have to pay for parking. Like if you add all of the excess stuff that when you go to a Cedar Fair park, you easily pay more money. Like it's not I just think people are taking this, they're looking at this, they're seeing sticker shock, and they're not even taking into account. That 4 hours that I was in that park was seriously one of the most enjoyable times I had in a park. It was no stress, get on whatever ride I wanted to ride, not have to worry about what I'm going to do with my belongings, with, what I have with me. There was no worries at all. Like that was my ideal park experience. And that's worth paying something for. And like this is all besides the point where I also think that you're looking at a region and you're looking at a target audience that is different than enthusiasts to begin with. But that aside, I just think people are just looking at this the wrong way. Also, food in the park, snacks were expensive, like not outrageously expensive, but drinks were actually reasonably priced. Not like Six Flags where you pay $9 for a bottle of juice or soda or something. It was $3 for a bottle of Powerade. Yes, that's more than you'd pay at Sheetz, but not ridiculous amount. It's like $1 more. I mean, there's so many different things that I don't think people are taking into account. And yes, I know you can compare this to like Six Flags and say, oh, I can get a season pass and I can do this and I can do this for that same exact. Yes, you're right. And yeah, that's a price thing. But the Six Flags season pass that I got that was cheaper, like I don't get the same satisfaction out of that 4 hours that I had, because no experience at a Six Flags park has ever reached the level of enjoyment that I actually had at Nickelodeon Universe. I loved that park. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I had so much fun at that park.
Yeah,
And
it's a very
James
good
is
park.
starting to steam, and he wants to say stuff, so I'll let him out
What?
of this.
No.
Oh, you look like you had that face like, oh, okay, I need to say something.
I wasn't immersed. I'm just kidding. No, I love the park. And again, just because I didn't feel it was to the extent of theming that I thought it would, it didn't really affect my visit still. I still like the park a lot. I still enjoyed my time there. I love the rides. It was good. The food to me was a huge issue still. There wasn't much to choose from, and it was only one building. Like I didn't understand. Like, yeah, it's not that big of a park.
There was a second one that opened later. I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, I did not. But either way, for a considerable amount of time was the only one that was open. And you couldn't exit the park. There's restaurants all outside of this park, and you can't exit, which I think is the dumbest thing ever.
That is one thing that I don't really understand what. And
what was the point of the wristbands if we don't use them? And why wouldn't that show us that we've been in the park?
No, the point of the wristband is so you know what times, like what time it expires. Because
yes,
I don't know if you noticed, there were different colored wristbands.
There were, yes, but if I don't use them to get on rides for the entire day, and I don't use them, and I can't use it to come back into the park, I don't want to have to wear it.
No, you're using it to get on rides. Because that color wristband shows that what time slot you're in.
Yes, but when the time, whatever time it was, like 1 o'clock or whatever, when that time period came in, it became effective. But until then, it really wasn't. Why couldn't I exit and come back in and say, "Hey, look at my wristband. This is the time I'm here for."
But that's what I was getting at. I don't understand what's going on with that, and they're very, very adamant about saying that is a temporary regulation. So I don't know if that's something maybe it has something to do with COVID. I don't know. I don't
I don't
know
know
if
why
there's
that would.
I don't know. I don't understand, but it seems like there's something that's causing them to do that. It seems like that is not going to be the norm going forward. At some point, that restriction is going to be left. And that makes sense then because, hey, then you can leave. And I think we're looking at something that is built with a different intention than what they're functioning right now. Because I don't think the food stands in Nickelodeon universe, I don't think were ever intended to be this is where you're going to eat dinner or something like that.
Yeah,
Because
but
I
and I
think
was
the whole
forced to do
point,
that, which I
uh,
think is
I
ridiculous.
w- let me the whole point is you're in a mall, so you leave to go to the
I
food court. But that's the thing. There's something going on. They're not real clear on why it is that way, but there's something right now that's preventing them from allowing reentry. But they're very clear that this is not going to be the norm. So, that's going to change. I don't know
but
when, but
I'm just saying I don't care what reasoning it is. I mean, honestly, I don't. They need to figure it out because that affects a lot of guest experience, I'm sure. I don't want a $15 salad as my lunch, and I had to settle for that because that's. I mean, they had some other options, but nothing really much looked more appealing to me. I shouldn't be held hostage for that because I chose to come to the park. I can't go eat something that I want to eat now, even though like 10 feet from where I am right now, there's uh, considerably better food options.
I
I
think
mean,
Mike was just saying when he was in there in December that that wasn't a requirement.
so it has nothing to do
So
with COVID then.
I haven't
December 2019. So actually, never mind.
yeah,
It
December
might. So I thought
2019.
it was 2020. Um,
Um, so I mean, it may have something because New Jersey has that's another interesting thing is that the mall is that county has blue laws, so that most of the stores in the mall are actually closed on Sundays because they're legally not allowed to open. So that's the thing. I'm wondering if there's just some kind of weird regulation or weird law that's preventing them from doing that right now.
why,
I don't
is it
know,
like a
but
temporary law? I mean, it does.
I
I
mean,
don't.
it could be related to COVID. It could have something to do with COVID. I don't know what, but it might have something to do with COVID. Maybe it has something to do with the way they're doing temperature screenings or like
There
I
were no
don't know.
temperature screenings. Oh yeah, there were. There were the
Yeah, there were.
wrists.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
were.
I forgot about the wrists. Yeah, but still, whatever it is, that's something that needs to be fixed, and I think
I
that should be
agree.
a
Like
top
that
priority.
is something because in my mind, I'm thinking when I go with my family in June, we're going to be there on a weekday where we have a 12 to 7. Um,
Yeah,
that's going to be, 4 hours is easier to just like plan on just I'm not eating, eat before you go in, eat after. Um, but if I'm there from 12 to 7, if that's our admission, we're not going to be able to stay in that park for 7 hours.
yeah.
But then if we walk out, then we lose. Like
You
that's a
forfeit
problem, and
your
that's
ticket.
something
Yeah,
that they need to fix.
I don't
But
understand too. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know what
and
law prevents people from.
I don't know either. And part of that is speculation on my part, but like there, I just that seems to be something that might fit
I don't know. I just.
because if Mike visited before
It,
COVID
it could
and
be a
didn't
I
have
mean,
it.
and it also could just be something they implemented for profit. I mean, if you have to buy food at their places, they're gonna make the revenue. It very well could be that.
Well, but that doesn't. It's the mall ownership, so they make a cut anywhere.
Sure, they make a cut, but I think this is actually directly like everything goes to them, as
Well,
opposed to.
no, yeah, but they want their source to thrive too. So it's in their interest to make sure that
They do want
I
they do want their stores to thrive, but they have an audience outside already
yeah,
attending
but
to the food
I
courts and
don't think
everything. If they have this,
I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't know that it's
I
I don't
think it makes
know.
just as much sense as a random weird law being in place that that
I don't I
withholds them.
no, I don't think I really don't think that's what they're doing. I really don't. I just don't see that being the case. I don't think that's productive for them at all. From the stand, I mean, if it wasn't the same ownership, then maybe I could see that. But I don't think I don't know. I don't know.
Do you
I
know?
can't see that being it. I don't know. Um, But like, yes, I'd love to see the price cheaper. And yes, it's gonna definitely reduce how many times that I actually visit the park. But I don't think it's as outrageous as people are making it out to be,
It
because
is.
I think you get a different level of experience that you just don't get anywhere else.
Nope, I disagree with that. I think it's pretty typical park experience, and I even when I was there said to Timmy, and actually I think our entire group, this is this is far from $90 of an experience to me. I mean, again, I really liked the park. I thought it was fun. I liked
See,
the
I'm
rides.
completely the other way. I think it was worth it. I absolutely think it was worth it.
No, I will not be visiting again until they lower the prices, and I think even Daniel said that, and Timmy. So just for you to get that perspective from our side of things. I know Bob's giving his perspective that it is worth it, just so you get two sides of the same coin here. We both visited the same time and take away different things. That's just how it's going to go, different experiences, whether or not the park's immersive or not. um,
But
uh,
one other thing we got to say is the real sleeper hit there is Slime Streak.
yeah, Slime Shake is really very, very good. Yeah.
It's my man Joe Draves.
I knew as soon as we finished writing that, I looked at Timmy and I went, Joe Draves. He's gonna say it. Watch, and there we go. I mean, yeah, it's a good ride. I liked it a
Because
lot.
it
It was
was
a lot of
good,
fun.
wasn't it? It was a
Yeah,
kiddie
it
ride.
was, but I knew as soon as
Good.
as soon as we finished and hit the brakes, I'm like, oh no, oh no. Ugh. I knew it was coming, but yeah, it was really good. I liked it. I do like their SNS power shoot drop tower is actually really good
Oh yes, that was actually
because
a lot of fun.
of the skyline view. I think that's really what
Yes.
made it. You get a great view
Yeah.
of the. I think it's actually
And it
called
was also it
Skyline
was al-
Screamer
it
or
was al-
something like that.
it was also really cool because it was like you go through like a tower built into the roof. And while you're going through that, you just feel all the wind because there's no like the air doesn't escape laterally. It all goes it's
Straight
all
down.
vertical. So
Hmm.
as you're going up and down, you just feel wind just everywhere rushing by you. It's really a unique experience in
It's
so many
different, yeah,
different ways.
yeah. All right, well, American Dream, quite the quite the review there, quite the arguments, quite the debates, the debacles. But
I
it's now
kind of do want to
time.
go back to the DreamWorks water park.
I
Sort of.
wouldn't mind
I
doing
mean,
that.
I'm not a water park guy, but I still kind of. But see, now that's I don't know. I personally, me not being a water park guy, that's even more expensive than Nickelodeon,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
kind of interesting to me.
it is. It's interesting. Maybe it's just the level of immersion, Bob. Maybe that's different, so they charge more.
Could be you're immersed in water.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna make that
It
pun,
was
but
kind of interesting. By when you're by the skating rink, they actually have a regulation
an ice,
NHL
yeah,
uh, skating area, and
ice
right
skating
beside it
rink.
is actually windows into DreamWorks. But they like I was like, oh, I actually can take a look, but they put like all kinds of like film stuff over it, so you really can't see into it. There were tons of people like trying to peek in and like see what it was all about, but it was like you really couldn't get a grasp on it.
Your view was hindered. Yeah.
It was.
Um. But yes, American Dream was fun. It's a good little park. Um. Whether or not it's worth $90 will be up to you guys to go and visit and find out for yourself. Um. All right. So now we're talking about launch systems, and I'm not a fan of talking about launch systems at 1 a.m. in the morning because there's a lot of in-depth factors to talk about with launch coasters. So let's try to do this pretty simply. Let's just try to leave the actual engineering and physics aspects out of this. We're doing the LSM versus the LIM launch. Um, they're both electromagnetic launch systems. They both use magnetic fields, obviously, hence the electromagnetic in the name, and they're both compared quite frequently because, I mean, they sound the same, they do a very similar thing, and a lot of people like to have debates which of the two is the better. Typically, you also include like hydraulics and compressed air and all that, and we'll have like a debate about that. But we just left it up to the two to face off on this week's show. Do you want to hear the results first, or do you want to give your own take, Bob?
Well, I'll give my own take.
All right, I'll let you.
Basically, from a ride experience, at least in my view, it seems like you have like LIM is basically turn the motor on and it goes as fast as it can to that set speed, and it tries to get up to that speed as quick as it possibly can. It would be like turning on your ceiling fan, and it's going to get up to that same speed as quick as it can. But if you hang stuff on your ceiling fan, it's still going to push and go as fast as it can. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get up to that. And I feel like LIM is just go as fast as we can, just punch it, go, and there's no holding back whatsoever. LSM kind of has that, it's synchronous motor, so it has its target, and then it tries to like match that target. So
Maintain
the computer will actually control it and like slow down and like, just kind of change the speed of change the acceleration, the rate of acceleration to hit that target speed at the moment that it needs to. For me, LIM, I just, there's nothing like, so far I've not experienced anything like the old LIMs I mean, you have the hydraulic launch, but you're talking about extremely high forces and acceleration. At the lower rates of acceleration, I don't think that anything compares to LIM. But it confuses me too, because I don't understand why LSM can't do the same as LIM. And that makes me think it's just a programming, like
I think they can. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just depending. It depends on how they're implemented. There are some LSMs that are very, very, very poorly done. Copperhead Strike, for example, a Mack multi-launch coaster, that the launches are pretty much non-existent. You don't even feel like you're launching. It's so. I mean, I love that ride. Don't get me wrong. That ride is excellent, but the launches are not even probably like the worst element on the ride. Which, when you think about a multi-launch coaster, typically the launches are some of the best. But it's not the case. But then there are rides like, I mean, Thunderbird at Holiday World. That launch is crazy. I thought TMC Shellraiser probably had one of the best launches I've ever experienced. I really love that launch.
And that was a really good launch.
So I think that it just depends on how a manufacturer implements the launch. That's all I can see, because there are some LSMs that I think are just as good as some of the LMs I've been on, for sure.
I certainly think they're close. The one I really would like to try is Red Force. I really would like to ride Red Force and see what that's like, because that's going to be like, that's pushing LSM as fast as it can right now.
I mean, even like Maverick's launch at the lift is pretty great, and like Lightning Rod's launch, those are LSMs.
See, the reason why Maverick's launch is so good though isn't because of the launch. You think it's because of the descent on the hill? That like balls to the wall go.
I don't know. I felt that.
I don't know how to explain what I feel.
I don't know.
Like there's that, like, you hit that point and then you're still going, but you're not really accelerating. Like LIM has more of a tendency to hold you back in your seat longer than what an LSM does. Like LSM is like kick and then go. Like, but a LIM was just like just pushes you back in your seat for the whole duration.
I'm just going to use the most recent example of one I've been on. TMZ Shellraiser, I thought, held me back pretty tightly against my seat. And the same thing, even better, I think, actually, in terms of launch, Sandy's Boston Bronco was like a really crazy launch. I was impressed by.
Here's the thing with,
and I thought the forward launch was just as good as the backwards launch. Before you say that you think that I know you said the backwards launch was better.
The thing with Sandy's is the launch area was not long, so you're not really like, you have a short, like, you're not really, you don't really have an extended area of a launch. It's, you just have to.
But I don't think it matters. That shows right there that the LSMs can kick butt in a short period of time.
That's the thing, as I know they can, but I don't know. I
But
don't
they did.
fully understand why they just don't
No, they
like.
did on
I
Busted
mean, I
Bronco. I
do,
think they
but I
did.
don't.
All right. Well, we'll leave it to the audience to decide. And the LSMs defeated the LIMs 77% to 23%.
Of course they did. Why would they? Why would anybody
43
agree
people
with me?
voted for LSMs, 13 for LIMs. We got a couple of responses on actually why. Airtime Mike said neither. I'll take SNS air compressed launch coasters. And Mike, that's not the question.
Mike.
we might pose that question another
Although
time.
I think he might be onto something, even though I've yet to ride one. I feel like what Dodonpa can do.
He said Hypersonic XLC was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have got to ride that.
Someone said I like LIMs better for more of a nostalgic purpose. LSMs are better across the board, but that sound that LIMs make.
Oh man, volcano sound. That was a great sound.
Someone said that LSMs are smoother.
What? Would you agree with that? I'm kind of curious. I have never actually heard that said.
I don't know if I would agree. I think it just has to do with the fact that LAMs are on older rides more than
That might be.
that's what it is. I think
probably.
so. Like, I can't think of a newer LAM ride that I've ridden recently that I can like that wasn't built like pre 2005 or something like that. Like a lot of them were built.
Most LIMs, I don't think they've used LIMs since around then.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, the power consumption of them is just
crazy.
massive.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. Yeah. Someone said the deep sound of LIMs. Ugh.
Yep.
And someone said you can do more with LSMs. You can't do a rolling or airtime hill for LIMs.
I don't know that that's actually true.
He said I don't know that for sure. Yeah, I don't think that's true. But,
Because I mean, if you think about it, all an LIM is an unrolled motor. So if a motor is circular, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to round it.
Isn't Mr. Freeze? Doesn't it have? No, it has like a straight. I was thinking for a second that some of the LIMs were on the top hat there, but that's not the case. Either way, it wouldn't matter as much. But still, like I thought the inverted top hat had some limbs on it.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't.
I don't know
think.
that it's actually been done, but I don't see any reason why you technically could, or couldn't. Like you should be able to. I don't see any.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm trying to think, because if you have those fins. I mean, typically how LIMs are done is like they have fins and the stators are on the sides of the track, and the fins go through them. So, I guess if you were to do something with like a round shape, I don't know how the fins would fare in there, and the stators. I think it could be done though.
I mean, it's. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. There's only 22 coasters ever built with limb.
That sounds about right. I mean, there's not that many at parks anymore. Like you go to parks and they're all LSMs now. I don't know.
Freeze.
But either way, Mr. Freeze definitely doesn't. I was wrong about that. But if you're researching,
no, I was just kind of looking and seeing if I know any. Though actually, wait, there's a second limb launch category. There's limb launch multipass, and there are 8 of those. Most of them are actually all of them might be the impulse. Cause yeah, I think they are all impulse. So that's 30 limbs ever built. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it does make sense, but
yeah, it does. It does. I don't know. I'm still thinking about the hill thing.
Yeah, I am too. What about Big Grizzly Mountain runaway mine cars at Hong Kong Disneyland. That was in 2012, and it uses a LIM launch.
Hmm. Is that the last one to be built?
I don't know. I'm looking at seeing if they have a picture of the launch area. Because now I'm like really curious about this. Oh, that's
What
a
about
lot of
did Batman and Robin? Did that ascend anything with any launches?
No, I don't. I think it was just the launch. It had a LIM boost, but I think that was on the.
I'm trying to think. Doesn't Mummy have Revenge of the Mummy? Doesn't that have a launched airtime hill? I know you haven't ridden it, but I'm kind of asking the audience as well, rhetorically.
That's 3 LIM launches.
Revenge of the Mummy.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a moment where there was like almost like an ascent in elevation, like you're climbing something and you launch up. Or I'm trying to remember. I wrote it a couple of times. I just can't remember now. I don't know. I feel like you can, but I wouldn't fully entrust us in that. I don't know. I've always thought that linear induction motors had to be linear, so like straight. But now I'm thinking that you probably could.
It does look like 2012 was the last. Yeah, Big Grizzly Mountain Runway mine cars. And then Revenge of the Mummy in Universal Studios Singapore was built in 2010. Then it's a couple in 2006, a couple in 2005. I think it was mostly all Intamin and Premiere, I think, and apparently Vekoma as well.
Yeah, that's about it. All right, well,
Timmy's saying he thinks the Mummy was a launched lift hill.
Yeah, there's a launched lift hill, but the lift hill is still straight. Like it's a straight.
Yeah,
descent.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can find any tonight that go up a hill, and I don't know if there are any. I don't know. I'm having a tough time seeing those like I guess if they were the volcano style limbs where like it was actually on the track, but like especially like the Flight of Fear and the Joker's Jinx ones definitely couldn't, because you have like those straight fins sticking out.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, the Premiere version would be.
That wouldn't be capable, I don't think.
Did Premiere use those side ones on all of their rides?
I think most of them. To be honest, I don't know, but I think a good majority of them utilize that technology. Yeah.
So actually, we should. Yeah, I think Batman and Robin the boost was on the. Yeah, the boost was on like the spike for you can actually see it on the spike.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to confirm, seeing as I didn't write it. All right, well, guys, LSMs triumph over LIMs in this poll. Again, to me, quite frankly, I don't see that large of a difference between the two. I think both can be implemented really greatly, and both can be implemented poorly in some cases. I think it just has to do with the manufacturer and how they utilize it and design it. It depends on a lot of factors. So, yeah, that's my take on it. I don't necessarily have one or the other. I enjoy both a lot. So, I'm being pretty
that's kind of make
pretty mundane on this issue. So, sorry,
how many people that answered actually never got to experience a LIM launch? Because with only
I don't know. I think most people have. I mean, while there's not that many of them, they're spread out throughout the country pretty well, that I think most people have access to one.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's one in Virginia. There's one in DC. There's one in Texas.
I'm sure it's spread across, but that's not like I don't know. That'd be another curious thing.
And maybe the response should not have been, "Why do you think that?" or "Have you actually ridden at LIM?" That should have been that. But again, I don't I don't know. This could have gone either way for me. So either way, I'm set. I like both, so I'm not too disappointed or happy with these results necessarily. I know Bob's a little sad that people outed him with the LIMs.
It's okay.
He's distraught. He's done. He's quitting the show. All right. Well, that is about it for this week's episode. We, of course, are gonna share next week's weekly poll with you, which is when will single ride lines return? We saw them disappear because of COVID. And when do we think those will return is going to be up for the poll next week. Next year, next week, tomorrow. Who knows? That's up to you guys to respond and give us some clarification and reasoning to why you think that as well. So you can do that by going to koshertalkpodcast.com/poll, or you can check us out on our social media pages because we'll also have the poll there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter @KosherTalkPod. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel because we'll have roller coaster footage and reviews and updates and all of that great stuff on that YouTube channel. That's Kosher Talk Podcast, all three separate words. You can also contact us, koshertalkpodcast.com/contact, or by emailing james@koshertalkpodcast.com or bob@koshertalkpodcast.com with any comments, questions, or concerns pertaining to the show. Or, 1 second, I messed that up. Or,
I'm just gonna end my stream.
yeah, all right. And also, lastly, check us out at koshertalkpodcast.com/shop. If you can, we'd really appreciate it. Appreciate the representation out at the parks. We think we have some good designs too, so that might be something that might interest you. So go check it out. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. It was a long one, very long one. Definitely longer than I anticipated. But we'll see you guys on next week's episode. And it's 1 a.m, like
Was it really? I mean, we knew this was gonna happen.
1 a.m, man. Jesus Christ. All right, I gotta go, guys.
I need to get to bed too.
You never seen Flight of Fear down?
I mean, for a short period of time, but I don't think I've ever seen it down for an entire day.
Yeah, I don't know about being down for an entire day is very rare, I think. But
Like I've seen it down for
yeah, okay,
maybe a half hour or something like that.
I'll be there sometimes. I'll go down like half the day or something. But all right, goodbye, guys.
See you guys.